We really have to have a staff meeting about this one. It's kind of cute the first couple times, but I don't know. Shout out in the comments if you like me.
You're saying it out loud.
I know I
am. Oh my god.
And she's a primitive still.
There she is. There she is.
Welcome to Jill's.
Can I offer you some tea?
Would you make me some of that Plomeek soup?
Good tea. Nice house.
Worf, it sounds like you have a bad case of Plomeek.
Is that contagious?
Hello and welcome to Plomeek Teatime number 111, where we're going to explore a particularly strange story. We love to explore lots of different stories, and if you look at the banner on my channel, it says sci-fi TV times film plus more plus fun plus C, and of course the C is there as the constant that you need when solving an indefinite integral. But it's the sci-fi part I want to focus on right now. Today we are reviewing the Deep Space Nine Star Trek episode called Looking for Plomeek in All the Wrong Places. And while it is a Star Trek episode set in space on a space station surrounded by aliens and advanced 24th century technology, except for all that, there is no science fiction in this episode. I run it past that check. Also, the other science Star Trek check that I usually have, which is, did this Star Trek episode encourage me or inspire me to be a better person or teach me something new in some way? This episode doesn't do that either. the episode today, while being Star Trek, actually it falls under, the plus more plus fun part, because today we have a rom-com comedic soap opera episode, and that's why I put it on the thumbnail as the station turns, which, well, I'm going to spoil it right away because there's really only one conversation in this. I mean, there's more than
no
one. Obviously, we're going
for this episode.
The main purpose for this episode is to put Worf and Jadzia together. But I think I don't know, I feel like it would have been better if they cut out the O'Brien stuff and did, something cooler, like not make the whole episode love triangles and love squares.
We'll talk about it.
We will talk about it. Just cut that O'Brien shit out, and I'd be a lot happier. But let's start off at the beginning, so Scotty R37 can have some say in this conversation. I'd like to welcome him.
Hi.
Hello. Hi.
This was my idea.
This was Scotty R37's idea. I wanted to talk about a Star Trek. He said Deep Space Nine. I said great, and he picked this one in particular. I guess
I gave you two. What was the other one?
Well, the first one was All Good Things, but there was a certain finality to that we didn't want to do that. But what was the other one? What?
No, you were cordially invited. It was either going to be the wedding or the first date.
Oh. Yeah, well, after this episode, there are lots more Worf and Jadzia episodes.
I know.
They don't even get married right away.
You're absolutely correct. This is not a science fiction episode. It's barely a Star Trek episode, except for the fact that everybody in it is in a Star Trek show. So I guess it is very much a Star Trek show.
There's not much story. It's just character. Examinations.
But also another one of my favorite episodes of Deep Space Nine is Take Me Out to the Holosuite, which is just a character episode. I love the characters on Deep Space Nine. I love the character episodes. Some people call them filler. Some people call them soap operas, which they are.
Yes.
But I love my stories with the people I like. I see them do their jobs like 90% of the time. And when there's a little downtime, little romantic tension in the background, peppered in, not every week, but just, I like
nobody, almost nobody's doing their job in this episode. There's
even Miles.
Yeah, that's the worst part.
Miles is slacking off, and then he continues to slack off throughout the episode.
Yeah, and then he's like, they don't need me anymore.
Yeah.
But before we actually reveal everything interesting about this episode, let's say hello to the chat.
Please.
Matt G is here. Hello, Matt G.
Hey, Matt G.
Pleasant Valley Picker CA says.
What's all this?
That's precisely what how he would want that read. And then there's that
war. What is it good for? If you ask me, absolutely nothing.
Okay, so I guess you got me. There we go. And let's see who else is it. Sentai Ranger Johnny's here on this Friday. Happy Star Wars month, he says. Oh, you celebrate the whole month. That's some love right there. And I'm also happy. But it's also apparently SpongeBob SquarePants month. I don't particularly hate SpongeBob SquarePants, but I'm not happy about it right now because of the crossover episode.
Oh right, yeah, no, that is the last place that I saw SpongeBob.
This is Amos. Sorry.
Yeah, well.
Yeah, unfortunately, that was highly. It was gross, but we'll talk. We talked about it before already.
Yeah, it's not a big deal. Well, it is, but it's also another reason not to. Oh, just ignore it. Jesus, sorry about that.
Wow, it's hard to ignore it when they shove it in my face.
I know. I'm trying to be an apologist for something that I love, even though all they do is. I want prime rib, and they're giving me Lunchables.
Oh, and Lunchables are worse than ever. They're so tiny. They don't.
Yeah, I know.
They don't really do anything for feeding children anymore. Anyway,
you can hear all about it on our new podcast next week. Greek letters. How are you?
Yeah. How are you doing, Greek letters, Larson?
Not with
a 20-foot pole. Oh, wow. Okay.
I don't know.
He doesn't like the pole. The pole is did Worf and Jadzia ultimately become a worthy romantic pairing, and so far it's 60-40 with yes winning so far.
Oh. Well, I'm not going to comment on that particular situation until the end of the show, because I want to find out what everybody else is saying. I have my opinion now. I'm not going to be swayed.
You don't No, I didn't say I don't appreciate SpongeBob. The first 3 seasons are fine. All I need is Sandy the Squirrel rocking out to Pantera.
I never watched
That's
it.
all I need. It's okay. A few episodes are okay. But my son, he loves it.
Well, there you go. So it's not genetic.
Shrinkflation has destroyed Lunchables. Yeah, you can look at the original Lunchable commercials and you can see they had double the amount of cheese and meat and everything.
It was like a buffet.
Jill's new channel, Lunchables.
That's going to be,
that's where you learn to make your own. Oh, wow.
Yeah, but the problem is you have to buy a couple of Lunchables just so that you can get the little, the plastic trays. So buy 4 of them and then reuse them, recycle them.
They have
things.
They have little things called. They have something called bento boxes that are, way more meant to be reusable, and they have little lids on them. So that makes more sense. And again, I thought, you know what? We're giving away all the best stuff about our new podcast next week. Lunchables suck, as suggested by PvP. Am I subconsciously trying to avoid talking about this episode? Anyway, this
No, but
episode
you made
is
slides, yo.
I did. But before we get to those, this episode is a sequel to The House of Quark. And so in that episode, there was Quark, doing his thing, trying to make money, and well, eventually, what he does is he meets this Klingon lady named Grilka, who is trying to save her house because her husband died, and so but
You're telling this terribly.
For some reason, well, geez, we're not even less than 15 minutes into the show, and you're badgering.
Badgering the witness.
Basically, Quark marries her to save her house. And what you could actually do is be constructive and add to what I'm saying rather than taking away. Have you considered?
Okay. If I may. So there is, and Jadzia does sort of a recap on like last time on Deep Space Nine in the middle of a conversation, like an expository conversation with Worf at the very beginning. I mean, it's like last time on Star Trek Deep Space Nine, Quark accidentally killed a Klingon, and that was Grilka's husband, and then ended up needing to marry Grilka because Grilka is being a lady Klingon, can't lead her own house. She needs a husband, so she needs Quark to, I don't know, defeat somebody. And then Quark realizes that the person, I think his name was Keldar for some reason, and it turns out that the Klingons used economics to undermine Grilka's house, and Quark presents this to Gowron, and Gowron is like so absolutely disgusted that a Klingon warrior would use economics to try and undermine another Klingon. And so he grants Grilka her house but because Quark beat Keldar, I think, then that means that Grilka and Quark are married, and then Grilka immediately divorces him and says, "Yep, thanks for it. I got my house."
Well, Quark defeats him by laying down his sword and refusing to fight, and Gowron stops the
See, I forgot that part.
killing.
Right. See, I suck too.
Well, no, you don't. Neither of us suck. Come together and put the pieces of the puzzle together, and so
and celebrate the differences that make us,
yeah. Like Gavin Blackman says, Scotty savagely attacks Jill, and it's a little early for that. It's super early in the life.
Oh, calm down. I'm sorry.
Also, this episode even had a subplot of Miles being sweet, super sweet, and Keiko being a bitch. And so I only mentioned that because I'm only saying that because the O'Briens are a part of this episode. Well, because Miles was trying to tell Keiko about his day, and she's like, oh, I'm too busy, and he even tries to talk about her, and he's still, when she finally gives him some eye contact, he tries to sympathize with her, but she just invalidates how he feels. And this just he's trying to celebrate
that's what
her.
You got from those interactions. All right.
He's trying to celebrate her the entire night, but she's unsatisfied or whatever. And then she goes to Bajor, and they don't see each other for a while. And is Yoshi really O'Brien's?
What is Yoshi really? What
is Yoshi
really O'Brien's? What are you talking about?
I don't know. I know.
So are you saying that Keiko had extramarital affairs?
I have no idea, but maybe.
Wow, the amount of, oh my stars, I am the only person in my pocket universe who defends Keiko.
I'm not saying it happened because it didn't happen on screen, but there's potentiality. The way she treats him, it's just obvious she's not really into him anymore. Except for in this episode, she's actually affectionate towards him for one of the
but
first times ever. But well, that's also a problem.
it's not really a problem. It's just something that they weren't willing to broach.
It's gross. And
Well,
PvP says.
know.
But before we
Yes.
get into it, please go back to talking about Lunchables. It'd be more interesting than this episode.
I like this episode.
I kind of like it, and I kind of don't like it.
I
Penny
think
says,
it's just I think it's cute.
Yeah, okay, I'll bite. Yeah, it is cute. It's cute, funny, frivolous episode.
Yeah. Hey, Penny.
Sure, but except for the O'Brien stuff, that's gross. Pop in to say
I
hi.
will get there.
I'm visiting my son in Palm Springs.
Oh my heavens! What a lovely day.
Yeah,
that's great.
That's wonderful. Super. I'd like to say hello to Jacob Ironside.
Hey, Jake.
And J-Man.
J-Man.
J-Man says, I'm a bit of a DS9 shill. I have seen every episode about 7 times. My best day, I watched 10 in a row. Wow.
Yeah.
That's
the more and more I watch Deep Space Nine, the more and more I love it. Gavin says, give Scotty Genesis.
And Greek Letters Larson says the only truly advanced race in Star Trek is the Ferengi who don't allow the females to dress. Oh my gosh.
That's right.
They're truly advanced and noble. Jill grabs her bat'leth and takes Scotty out in one blow. Oh, damn.
That's right.
That's harsh.
Well, no, but you're better at bat'leth than I am.
I'm allowed to walk around the street with them.
Yeah, exactly. You get to carry your bat'leth, but I can't carry my Captain America shield.
Remember when Keiko got taken over by an evil entity? I really liked her. I know! I really liked her then, too. She was so sweet and thoughtful and kind and did lots of nice... She even threw Miles a party. She did all the things that Keiko should have been doing, except for the murder part. I guess that part was...
Except for the murder part. Hello. Hey, Franco.
So, yeah, hello, Franco, who wants to remind everybody to please subscribe and hit the bell, share, hit like, and select live chat. I particularly would like some subscribers because I keep going from, I'm just 10 away from 1,300, so I keep going from 1289 to 1290. So we'll see. But I'm patient.
Lucky 13.
Patient.
We got to get to the lucky 13.
That's what I've been waiting for. So, looking for Plomeek in all the wrong places is this episode. Yes.
Right before we start,
an introduction.
I do, just because I wanted to highlight that PvP says Deep Space Nine is my second favorite Trek series after TOS. You're a man of taste. Anyway, Maestro, if you please.
Oh, and Franco says he fell asleep. It's very hot here today. Oh no, I hope you can cool down somehow. So, looking for Plomeek in all the wrong places first aired on October 14th, 1996. That's one of the longer Star Trek episodes. It's list names.
Yes.
Or is it? It's not longer than For the World is Hollow. And I have touched... No, that still wins. For the World is Hollow, and I have touched the skies. It's still long.
Well, and and that's the thing. It's interesting that you bring up that episode, is that's kind of like a soap opera episode, but they do couch it in science fiction, with Yanada and all that jazz. And the what's the name of the person? The Oracle. And all computer controlling and they do science fiction story at the same time as they do their soap opera.
So that would have been great to have something like that here.
Yeah,
beautiful.
They don't. Yeah,
they don't. But just for you, I'll play it if I can find it.
Yeah, I was gonna say, play what?
That the pleasure is in the learning of each other?
Yeah, she's a fox.
There you go. Tetrarch of Apathy is here too. Have to lurk for a while. It's great to listen to, though. Oh, thank you so much, Tetrarch of Apathy. I'm glad you're here.
Yes.
And Centaur Ranger Donnie's doing well, and he's happy about a lot of things. Hearing Liamani Segura got cast as Pink in The Descendants 5. He loved her as Emily in the High School Musical. Looking in all the wrong places. That sounds kind of dirty. Yes, this episode is completely dirty.
Well, it's looking for love in all the wrong places.
It first aired on October 14th, 1996, and the title itself comes from a famous country song. Looking for love.
In all the wrong places.
Well, actually, it doesn't put all the wrong places. But this is the only real Star Trek episode with a Klingon word in the title.
Huh.
And it was written...
Might not be.
Yeah.
I don't want to... It is Filthy Friday. I thought that there was an episode of Lower Decks that was...
Yeah, that's why I said real Star Trek. I was avoiding talking about it, but you can.
No, I'm not even going to fight you on this anymore. But okay, I just wanted to make sure that we acknowledge the episode of a show that was called Star Trek that had a Klingon word in the title.
It's just a Klingon word in the title. I saw that. I was like, no filth, but you brought it up, so good for you. It was written by Ronald.
I get a brown star.
Who is normally, he's usually one of my favorite writers. Like if I see his name, I'm like, I'm gonna love this episode, and I don't hate this episode. It was directed by Andrew Robinson. I just hate one big part of it.
And of course, we know Andrew Robinson from being the Scorpio killer from Dirty Harry.
Yes, nothing else. We don't know him as anything else. He's not a outcast Cardassian living aboard Deep Space Nine.
He's not plain or simple.
He's not a tailor. No, he is. He is. He is. This episode is directed
by Garrick.
He's directed by Garrick. Yeah. And the thing is that he had just won 2 awards for directing, I guess, a couple of plays, because this is his first television direction.
Oh, nice.
He directed Samuel Beckett's Endgame and Harold Pinter's The Homecoming. And I don't know what those are. Are those?
See, and I want to get the Andrew Robinson.
They're plays.
I want to get the Andrew Robinson stuff because he's not in the episode. But yeah, J-Man, shout out to Scorpio. Also, he was the dad in Hellraiser. I have to see Hellraiser again. And then also, and the detective in Cobra. I also have to watch Cobra again. I haven't seen it in a while, and for some reason I've had a hankering for it. But yeah, no, that's a good reason.
Well, there you go. Now you have your reasons. And Robinson will later go on to direct 2 more episodes of Star Trek, but it'll be Voyager, Blood Fever, and Unforgettable.
See, it's also interesting because this...
Unfortunately, I think Unforgettable is a very bad episode, but go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, like, this is also... What year did this broadcast originally?
1996.
Yeah, see, I think that we're starting to get into that Voyager era as well, where there's, sitcom in space. It's must-see TV, Star Trek. Like, there is a sort of bubblegumming of Star Trek around this time that makes it more like other primetime television shows.
Yeah, people were spoiled with Star Trek back then.
Yeah, oh my stars. It was so glorious.
Yeah,
that 1997 was the closest I've ever been to tantric.
Well, I guess that's appropriate.
When it comes to Star Trek.
That's appropriate to mention in this episode. The episode is also inspired by another play, Edmund Rostan's Cyrano de Bergerac.
Yeah, I caught that. There is a lot of Cyrano de Bergerac in this.
Yeah, that's what all of this is. The whole plot is based off of. But let's get started with the story
Did you
as it
ever,
is.
before we get kicked off on the story, did you ever see Roxanne starring Steve Martin and Daryl Hannah? He's got a
No,
big nose. It's the Steve Martin movie where he has a big nose, like
no, but
clownish.
I'm guessing you mentioned it because it's also like the play.
It is also a Cyrano de Bergerac adaptation in a different way. But yeah, it does. Yeah, and it is present later on. They kind of. I was like, oh my stars! We took a left turn and we decided to rip off Cyrano, which is also like Barkley played Cyrano.
Oh, that's right, and the nth degree.
Yeah,
Nice. And he was really good at it when after he got a little help.
made Beverly cry.
So Bashir is really nosy, going down the hallway, hearing the O'Briens arguing. So he tries to eavesdrop, and Quark shows up to. He's just like, I'm a Ferengi. I don't need to put my ear up to the door to hear this
Right.
conversation. I got giant ears, and so
Now, but wait. So I had a little bit of an issue with this, and I'm going to nitpick all of the science in one of my favorite, like, just fun bubblegum stories. But like, I was thinking, on a Federation starship, your quarters would be soundproof. There is no way that I am hearing through your door on a Federation starship. And I was like, wait a second, this is a Cardassian space station. Of course they skimped on the soundproofing. They would like to be able to spy on you. There is no such thing as privacy.
That's a great point. Yeah, Cardassia is basically 1984 incarnate. So yeah.
So
see,
I
we
liked
shouldn't have
that. This is something like this is new information, and I'm sure Julian's used to it because this is season 5, and so like he knows what's going on. He can snoop.
Yes.
He is a doctor.
He is. Well, yeah. Yes, it's purely for medical purposes that he is.
Sure. Medicinal.
Sorry,
Yep.
Forgot. But this line that I have here mentions one of the personal issues of this episode that it doesn't really get addressed except for here. I hope Molly's not around. So just all of the weird ass shit that the O'Briens do this entire episode with Kira. Just imagine Molly just sitting in the corner watching all this shit. Poor little girl. But we'll get to the implications of that.
Well, and okay, not the implications, but the reason as to why Molly is absent. I think, like, at the beginning of the episode, which we're not at yet, the part that I'm about to reference, we're not there yet, but it does take place before the credits, is that when Jadzia sees Grilka and her, posse, and they get onto the promenade, she says, oh, I guess things are going well with the Klingons if there's a delegation coming to the station. It is quite possible that that Molly is on Earth with Keiko's parents. Like, isn't that usually the excuse as to what happens to Molly? She's on Earth with my parents.
Yeah, they don't say what happened to Molly in this episode, but
well, she comes back and goes through.
Well, it's so terrible. It's so
feral monkey person.
Oh no, let's.
We're
not
never
talk about
reviewing that. We're never reviewing that.
Well, I would review it. It.
We can do it for Father's Day.
It would be this episode would be even worse if she showed up, so she's not here. And so anyway,
the entire reason Molly exists is to show up and make things awkward for Miles. So it would be like, why are you rubbing the colonel or the major like that? It's like,
exactly. Oh,
I know, it's so gross.
Oddly, okay, so So there's eavesdropping happening, but oddly though, they discovered Keiko walking down the hallway because they thought it was Miles arguing with Keiko, but it was actually Miles arguing with Kira, and Miles doesn't want Kira to play spring ball anymore because she's pregnant with Yoshi, which is because that happened. What Kira has, so that's another story. So this is all continuity. Kira
I know,
is
right?
pregnant with Miles's baby because
Yeah, what happened? Why is...
Keiko wanted to go on a expedition on Bajor, even though she was pregnant. Miles was like, "No, you're pregnant. You're gonna get hurt." And so she went, and she got hurt, and so Julian Bashir had to transfer the baby to Kira's womb to save the baby's life.
Right.
And
which
now,
was, like, production-wise, it was because Nana Visitor was pregnant with Siddig El-Fadil's, or Alexander Siddig's child.
yeah, and that in and of itself, I liked that excuse to do that. That's kind of cool.
Mhm.
But Kira living with Miles and Keiko is the weirdest fucking thing, and I
Well,
just
like, I know I'm a Keiko defender, but it
Mhm.
is really, really weird that, and selfish, that she went on an expedition, damaged her body to the point where she wouldn't be able to carry a child, transfers that child into another woman's body, and then if she wants to go away for a weekend, it's like, how dare you be so reckless? And it's like, bitch, you did it first. Why do you think I'm carrying your child? It's because you're a reckless, selfish...
Yeah, right. Kira is, in this episode, Kira is not going to rappel down
J-Man's
a
here.
mountain. Oh, J-Man's leaving. Hey, J-Man, thank you. Okay, got to go back to my day job. Have a good one. Live long and prosper. Let me see what else you had here. Wait, or was I? I don't know if you start or I start. I have to find my own star. There, you can't keep getting away with it. No, see, that's not even my star. Here.
Well, that was just the last in the chat. What? Are you getting mad at my stars?
No. I just want to make sure I find all of J-Man's. Wait, no, maybe that was it. He said Scorpio. Oh yeah, you read that one from him.
Yep.
Yeah, Roxanne was a fun movie. Love where he makes 40 jokes about his nose. Or was it 20?
It was 20, but yeah, no, it's super funny. Actually, I think he does like
And
20,
recovered.
more than 20. But yeah, no,
Wow.
You should see it. It's great.
Wow, that's good. All right, so, and let's see what else we had here. Remember when Keiko got possessed? Yes, we remember. Brogu's here?
Yeah, Brogu's here.
Hello, Brogu. Hope you're having a great Friday. I'm going through DS9 Dominion War episodes on my YouTube channel. Oh, you are?
Nice.
That's wonderful.
Holy moly.
Really? Oh, wow. Check him out. Check out that Jacob Ironside.
I think that it's so,
Or
like...
is it on your YouTube channel or somebody else's YouTube channel? I'm not sure. But you do have a channel. Let me see.
Yes.
What were you going to say?
I was going to say that I think that the last 6 episodes of Deep Space Nine are the best mini-series of Star Trek.
Mm-hmm.
Like, to watch 6 episodes in a row. Like, it's definitely, of course, it's better than any season of Picard. But, like, the resolution of the Dominion War is one of my favorite things to revisit on, like, a day where I'm not going outside. And it's like, okay, then you've got to clean your room, do some shit, and be domestic. How long do you think this is going to take? Well, if I take my time, 6 episodes of Deep Space Nine.
Yeah, so Jacob Ironside did talk about the Dominion War. And
Are you transferring?
You want to save it for
links?
later? Yeah, I did it.
You're advertising stuff? This episode
why not?
brought to you? Why not? I don't see it as a bad thing.
Tetrarch of Apathy says, yes, alert. Oh, yeah, we read that one. And we read that one, too.
Mm-hmm.
There's no wrong place to find love. Even a what?
No, I wouldn't. No. Well, and the thing is, like, tribbles are born pregnant, and I don't have that fetish.
Yes. Yes.
J-Man says, I love all real Star Trek, as Klobby would have said. Agreed.
Yeah, well, he loves real Star Trek, but
yeah,
but he was also
Briggs says.
But he was also not afraid to say this episode is stinky.
It's not stinky. It's rose scented. It's not. It's a fun character. I like hanging out with these characters.
Did someone say real Star Trek? You mean the Orville, right? Oh, I love the Orville, and I did review all of it already, but I do love it so much. And did he direct 6 episodes or 5? I forgot. I don't know. It might have just been 3.
No, it's a reference to Dirty Harry.
Oh.
And because Andy Robinson was the Scorpio killer in Dirty. Have you ever seen Dirty Harry, Jill?
I have. One time.
So that's fine.
Just curious. He says, before I go full lurk in Cobra, Brian Thompson, the main villain, guested on TNG, and at least twice on DS9.
I think he was even, and you're absolutely right, Tetrarch. I think he was even a Romulan on Enterprise. Yeah. I was wondering what his name was. Hey, Classic Comics.
Classic Comics, that's what this episode challenges. I never really bought Worf being with a non-Klingon woman. He's such a traditionalist. It always felt very contrived to me. And we're going to get into this. I'm going to start this one. Hopefully I can remember this is an important one for when we get into that.
Well, the thing is that they say, have you ever been involved with a Klingon woman before? Worf says no.
Which is a lie.
Which is not a lie.
It is a lie.
Now, I don't want to.
Alexander, you don't. I know you haven't forgotten Alexander.
Right. But Kalar was half human.
Yes, but she's still
who flouted her Klingon heritage. She was not a traditionalist.
Mm-hmm.
And then even if you want to go to, what is it, Birthright, the one where Data has dreams and whatever, Worf goes to the colony and sort of romances that inappropriately young woman, and but she's half Klingon, half Romulan. So Worf, in terms of canon and continuity and all that jazz, Worf has never been with a, pardon my descriptor, full-blooded Klingon. Like B'Elanna Torres is a Klingon, but she's half human. And that is, it's interesting that the Klingons are very, very geneticist or eugenicists. It's like, oh no, we need a pure bloodline. Anyway, it's just, that was a thought. So it's not a lie. Worf has never been with a 100% Klingon.
But they didn't say 100% though.
Well, it was implied. Grilka is the head of a house. She's got an advisor and a bodyguard, and it's like, Worf, who are you?
Yeah, that sounds like an excuse for poor storytelling. It was implied. It wasn't directly stated as such.
Yeah, but didn't. Oh, come on! I thought it was common knowledge.
So Worf is arguing with Jadzia about how he enjoys Baroque code and singing, so Klingon opera. And she argues that he doesn't vary his voice very much. And Worf defends this style because it is traditional, but Jadzia insinuates that is contradictory. It's a contradiction because he's in Starfleet and he was raised by humans, and finally, and learned to enjoy human drinks like prune juice. So maybe she's hoping he'll start to embrace variety in his taste of Klingon opera, but that seems to diminish and misunderstand Worf a bit because I think it was his Earth-based upbringing that sparks a desire in him to be closer to his heritage, to be a little more of a stickler for the traditions, and he learns them really well. And he wants to be strict with his Klingon side, despite the fact that, of course, he considers Earth to be his true home. And that's what's charming about him. I think it shows the yearning to be close to his origins and isn't contradictory. It's who he is. And I think she's being kind of a jerk.
Oh, wow. That's a little much.
Yeah, she's telling him that he's not him. Like, what he is a contradiction. And I don't think so.
I agree with Jadzia. And I think that Worf has always had to stick up his butt about the Klingon stuff.
Because he's a big fan of it. Because he considers Earth his home. He's really, it's not a stick up his butt. It's an appreciation for where he was born.
Like Kalar was like, oh, that Klingon mumbo jumbo or whatever she says in that episode.
Mm-hmm.
And she's half human and half Klingon. Worf is full Klingon, raised by humans. And so, yeah, no, I understand his desire to honor his heritage. No pun intended.
Exactly.
Actually, pun intended.
That's all it is.
He wants to honor it. And, but I do agree. Jadzia Dax is so well versed in Klingon heritage, I suppose. Tradition. Hell, she speaks his language.
She spent a lot of time with Klingons, but not as Jadzia,
not
as Curzon.
And so, like, this is something where this is almost like, oh, you have to be with someone who you look like. And that's not, like, it's not you. You're not a full Klingon. As much as you think you're a full Klingon, like, I respect that you respect your heritage, but you also have to understand your individual experience as being a Klingon raised among humans. Like, that's something to take into account, don't you think? Like, even Guinan,
but I also don't like that insinuation that the implied racism of Klingons by Deep Space Nine is kind of gross. Like, I don't really believe it.
How so?
I think that there is possibility. Like, there is possibility for pairings in a traditional Klingon sense if you do it the right way.
Well, and maybe I'm guilty of it as well. I'm thinking of Commander Hansen from, what was the ship that Data was the captain of? Hobson. Commander Hobson on the... it was...
Yeah, Yeah, he doesn't like the
he was like...
He doesn't want to work under an android.
Right, just as a Klingon wouldn't make a good ship's counselor. And it's like, fuck you, buddy. One of my favorite... sorry about the swear. Is one of my favorite ship's counselors is a Klingon. Like, you don't know.
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
Racist.
Well, yeah, not all Klingons are going to be warriors. Some of them are scientists. Some of them
they have to be. Yeah,
they have to have all different sorts of. It takes all different kinds of people to run a world. Is here the Klingon woman in Undiscovered Country was okay. One of the Duras sisters was hot. Can't remember which one of the two is.
No, I know. You're right, though.
Right.
And don't forget, was it Valkyris from Star Trek 3? Was she Klingon? She was kind of cute.
Yes. So maybe it was B'Etor. B'Etor looks like she's.
Well, it was Barbara March and Gwyneth Walsh. Yes. And you know what? I'm not gonna, but I know which one I don't know them individually. I only know them as the Duras sisters. I don't know them individually. If you were to be like, show me a flashcard and they said, is it Lursa or Baator? I would be like, I'm going to guess. So,
yeah. Daniel's Hot Topics. I want to say hello. Hello to Daniel.
Hey, Daniel.
I bet Klingon women would be intense lovers. Yeah, that is part of this episode, PvP.
Oh, yeah. But the best part is that Worf
it's
gets
you.
beat up too.
Yes.
Showing how
they're warriors together.
Yes, they are.
Subscribe to Herc130 at my Mach 1 for life. Yeah, I remember that. Hello, Herc.
Yes.
Also, Mega Cropper's here. Klingons are...
Hey, Mega Cropper.
They are not Africans in Star Trek.
Are Africans in Star
They're not
Trek.
Africans. They're from Kronos, the planet Kronos. You got to put yourself in the world and stop being so earthly. But I'm glad you're here, Mega Cropper. I don't know.
No,
I was a little harsh there.
But originally, weren't they supposed to be the Russians?
No, I thought they were like...
Or the Chinese. I thought the Romulans were supposed to be the Chinese.
Yeah.
That's what, like, there are allegories, and that's why I really enjoy, like, when we get into later, like, past Next Generation Star Trek, Berman Trek, like, we are expanding on the world and the lore to a certain extent.
So I think originally Klingons were supposed to be, like, Mongolians, and then later on, as they became more like these Klingons, they're more samurai. So if you want to Earth,
in terms of the evolution,
that's how you're.
Yeah, but I thought that I thought I'd seen a bunch of interviews and everything, and it was like obviously the Klingons are a Soviet analogy.
Romulans, we're Russian, says Mega Cropper. Okay. Well,
and then the Romulans would be.
Yeah, but that's analogy, and read more chat. They're more interesting than the episode. Okay.
You guys.
And all right. So
yeah, the movie was great, man.
Yeah, PvP says about the Jura sisters.
Yeah, boob windows. I didn't know what a boob window was until I saw the Duras sisters, and then it became all of the fashion craze.
Yes. But then
so anyway, meanwhile, on the promenade,
Grilka shows up, and Jadzia comments that peace talks must be going well if Klingons are visiting. But instead of hearing anything she said, Worf has developed a massive crush instantly and has become like an obsessed teenager. He follows her to Quark's.
Yeah, this is like one of those episodes where the pheromones are like attack a person. For some reason, Worf has love at first sight, and they dismiss it by translating it to Klingon and being like, "Ooh, Plomeek." It's like,
is that contagious?
It's kind of like Ponfar, I guess. Yeah. Do you want to play the clip?
Oh yeah. Okay, I can play the clip. Where is that clip?
Let's roll the tape.
Put it under here.
Worf. It sounds like you have a bad case of Plomeek.
Is that contagious?
I'll play the other one when we get to it.
Yes, thank you.
But yeah, let's continue talking about the soap opera. Jadzia says, now I remember who she is. Her name is Grilka, and she's not just Quark's friend. She's his ex-wife. And Quark even remembers how she takes her drink. So they already have the rapport. And Worf is concerned about all what's happening. He's not happy.
You know what I really enjoy about this reunion is that usually when you see Quark interact with anybody, it's like with hesitation or nerves, and he's always defensive. It was nice to see Armin Shimmerman as Quark just be like, I trust you completely. It's good to see you. You are my friend. Because I don't think he does that with anybody else in the entire series.
I think that shows actually how much he really cares for her. And he's really smooth with her. Normally he's trying to find an angle or cheat somebody, but here he doesn't have any of that. And it's good to see. I actually do like seeing him not always being after the Latinum for one time. But they do talk about it for a bit. Grilka says that the war's been costly, and this is where he does this. So
Wait,
you wanted to hear this?
No, wait.
I said it, but you weren't listening to me, so I'm gonna play it. Oh wait, where is it?
Play it.
I lost it.
It's between the couch cushions.
I seriously. What? No, I had it up and everything. Where did it go?
You know what? I watched this episode yesterday and I can't remember the theme to Deep Space Nine.
No.
The only thing in my head is Voyager.
You remembered it.
You helped. Anyway. Meanwhile, back at the bar.
Can you hear that? You can't hear that.
No, I can't hear it, yo.
Been very costly to my family. We have suffered great losses in ships, lands, warriors.
War. What is it good for? If you ask me, absolutely nothing.
So, thank you.
So,
how do you feel
are they
about
just
that line, Bill?
Are the writers just being really cute, or does Quark actually know about the 1969 song by Edwin Starr?
I think that it is just I don't think he knows about the Edwin Starr song. I think that it's just a common reaction to war. However, and I think we discussed this earlier at rehearsal.
Yeah.
I don't know specifically which rule of acquisition. I know it's in the early 30s. But there is a rule of acquisition, and it's like war is good for business and peace is good for business. They are concurrent, like they are sequential rules of acquisition. And I think that it would be more in character for him to say the rule of acquisition.
Yes, it would have been. Agreed.
But
it's 34 and 35.
It's 34 and 35. I thought it was 32 and 33. Anyway, that's why
32,
I failed the
32 is not the 32 is not listed. We don't know what it is, but 33 is it never hurts to suck up to the boss.
That's not a bad rule of acquisition, I can tell you so much. But yeah, no, I think but I do forgive the quote of the Edwin Starr. It sounds like I'm talking about a boat. But the episode itself is called Looking for Plomeek in All the Wrong Places, and that is also a song title. So, and they only do 2. Like it would have been funnier if they had rounded out the trilogy, because funny things come in 3s. But I'm okay with it. I'm all right with that sort of paraphrasing. You're all astronauts on some kind of Star Trek.
Yeah, and Quark does offer to look at her books to help with their finances, but don't worry about that because that never comes up again.
No, I think it does. Ish.
No, it doesn't.
Don't they say that it's like Grilka wants to have dinner with Quark later because of the good work that he did on the books or whatever, and that's what makes Phil Morris upset?
Right, because he can't kill him because he was like, I'm gonna kill you. You don't help her.
Oh, someone's here. DJ Knight.
That's true. You can hear that now. DJ Knight, hello. Hello to DJ Knight in the chat. And yeah, so I'm still getting through the
Oh yeah, no, we're and we get it's no longer Commander Sisko, it's Captain Sisko, Major Kira, not Colonel. Oh, it's been a while since I've gone through a bunch of episodes. Heavens. so nice to be back.
Yeah, we should cover more Deep Space Nine.
Yeah, man. I love this place.
So Dex is reminding us of things that happened last time, like how Quark accidentally killed Grilka's husband, but pretended it was on purpose. He pretended it was on purpose to increase business. Grilka took Quark to Kronos and married him.
Phil Morris. That's
everything.
Not Phil Morris.
Phil Morris.
That's his name.
Yeah, that's his name. His name just popped up. I always get everybody's name, so do get excited when you see names.
So that's this guy. Purpose. You know who this guy is?
Well, okay, so both of the Klingons who are basically her bodyguard or her knights or whatever, I don't know what they are.
Council and bodyguard.
They're both from the original series, Star Trek. And we
Those
have
old scientists.
Oh, you.
I know.
Right.
Just keep. No, I'm sorry.
You thought I wasn't going to understand what you did.
No, but I knew you were going to understand it. Anyway, no, let's not quibble.
This is not This is Joseph Ruskin.
Yes.
I have him in my notes. He was in the episode The Gamesters of Triskelion.
He was the head thrall.
Galt was his name. And yeah, we were watching that episode.
You know what? And I love it. I am so happy to see original series actors show up again in Berman Trek.
Me too. It's good stuff. And he shows up again, doesn't he? Yeah, okay.
I think so, yeah.
He'll also be a Cardassian later on, or before.
I would love to see that guy in Cardassian makeup. That would be rad.
Actually, he was previously a Cardassian season 3, a probable cause.
Huh. I'll write that down.
He's also a Vulcan in the Voyager episode Gravity.
Nice.
And a Suliban doctor in Enterprise. So he's one of the few people, one of 5 actors to appear in both the original series and Enterprise. Along with Majel Barrett, Clint Howard, Jack Donner, and Vince Diedrich.
Incredible.
So he is incredible. And he of course he did more than Star Trek in his life.
Of course.
But we're talking about Star Trek today, so check out his IMDb. He's done. Oh, he's gonna show up soon enough. We're gonna see him with, in the Twilight Zone episode To Serve. He's gonna be in To Serve Man.
I heard it was a cookbook.
Yes, but we'll stop there because that's gonna be its own thing when we talk about that episode. And
yeah.
He's been.
We should get back to talking about Lunchables instead.
Oh, okay.
No,
that's just gonna make me hungry. Also, Planet of the Apes. Old Man Bird. Hello, Old Man Bird. Okay, so let's go back to where I was.
All right. Can you narrate for a moment? I have to go visit the water closet.
That would be lovely. Yes. Okay. Jaloja.
Okay. Yes, thank you.
Not the Jalojine. That's not the lovely part. I just mean narrating. I can do it. And so I just had to find where I was in the notes because we got distracted by Star Trek royalty over here. Who's been in Enterprise in the original series. That is a very rare thing. That is to be admired. And so, yes, we talk about the marriage of convenience that Quark had with Grilka. And Worf thinks that of course Worf thinks it's obvious that Worf would think that Quark isn't worthy of Grilka. And so then we get this clip that Scotty asked for, but he's not here to hear it. Here it is.
Plomeek is the Klingon word for love, but with more aggressive overtones.
Love. War.
stranger things have happened.
Yeah, so we get that. And it was, of course, don't forget, it's directed by Garrick. For those of you just tuning in with us, directed by Andrew Robinson. I don't know why I forget that all of the time. I must have heard that at some point, but it's the kind of trivia that I just don't think about a whole lot of him being more than, he says he's just a simple tailor, but he's also a director, always hiding stuff. Of course, Grilka divorced Quark as soon as he could. We talked about it already. And this is the reason why I have clips of Cisco talking, is because this is the only line Cisco gets. After this, we don't see any more Cisco. And then we cut to Bashir working on something to help with Kira's sneezing. Instead of morning sickness, the Bajorans sneeze a lot when they're pregnant, so they're continuing that. And so I'm going to check with the chat and see what's going on, because we've got 46 messages I haven't checked in on here. And we've got, my impression is, was always that due to being raised on Earth, he had a very idealized notion of what Klingons and their culture were and strove to live up to it. But his concept wasn't the reality. Absolutely classic comics. He was very serious, and he was like, a Klingon would never do that or this. And I understand what Klingons must be, because I have learned about honor and I have read all the things, and I have all the technical manuals that tell me everything that it is to be Klingon, and I am the perfect Klingon. And then you go on a Klingon ship and they're all jovial and they're a little bit different. The reality is different than what's on the paper. So it's like someone who learns from the book, who studies what it is to be a Klingon, but without, spending as much time on Kronos as another Klingon. He doesn't always completely get it. And I think it's good though. That makes Worf who he is, and I would never call him contradictory. He's the child of his circumstance of being an Earthling. You mean the spy at the beginning of Star Trek 3? Oh yeah, that's right. Oh yeah, wait, we're not there yet. We haven't seen him yet, but we will get to that. Yes, you're correct. And B'Etor was the hot one, I think. Yes, you're right. You're right too. You're right about that too. Classic comics, way to go. Oh no, I'm so sorry. What? Kirk 130 says, I lost my father to diabetes on April 2nd, so I haven't been around much. Oh no. Kirk 130, I had no idea. I'm sorry for your loss. People say that, but that's the biggest one. Your parents, that's not something, that is a deep one. And I couldn't imagine. I haven't lost either of mine yet, and oh no, I'm sorry, I'm being moved around. And I'm still being moved, but I'm not very good with this kind of stuff anyway, so it's good that there's some background noise to break the tension a bit. But I'm sorry, Herc. And that makes sense that you would step away for that. But it is good to see you around. And Franco says to Herc 130, so sorry to hear that. My condolences. And mine as well. And so then let's skip over a few things. They should have done a Captain Worf series. Yeah, well, I actually want Captain Data with First Officer Worf, because I love Captain Data. When the few times that he behaves as a captain is wonderful. And we've got another guest to speak with us about this episode. I'm currently getting through the chat, but yes, let's welcome Tiger Stripes. Hello.
Hey. Hi, y'all. Hey, Scotty. Hey, Jill. Hi.
Hey. Oh, Scotty stepped away for a bit, but yes,
Which
please.
episode are y'all talking about?
We're talking about looking for Plomeek in all the wrong places.
Oh my God, that's actually the title of the episode.
That's the whole title.
Yeah, I can only address Worf and Jax roughly. You know, I don't have your body of knowledge. You and Scotty are real experts. I don't know if I should be here.
Worf and Dax. Well, if you remember anything from the episode, you can speak up. But well, if you have an opinion or anything, you can be here.
I just feel like I don't know. You know, the fact that you've put the question, you know, in the poll.
I did. I was hoping it would spark some kind of conversation.
It's a good question.
Oh, Broco's got to go. Broco's got to go. Enjoy the rest of the stream and enjoy your weekend, everyone.
Bye, Brogu. Hello, Tiger.
Yeah, bye, Brogu.
Hi, I was just making my not exactly apologies, but I don't know Star Trek the way you and Jill do. So I have vibes that, you know, about Dax and Jadzia and Worf, but...
Well, what are your thoughts?
I don't know. The poll really puts the question to it. It's a great question.
Like, I'm a big fan. I think it's my favorite couple in all of Star Trek.
I like them together. I don't know. It did kind of come out of nowhere a bit. They had some that I think the Deep Space Nine companion says something like they noticed that they had some chemistry, and they just started to build upon that.
Well, I think in real life they did have chemistry as well. Like, I think for a while they were coupled.
Really, I didn't know that.
Really?
Michael Dorn?
Mm-hmm.
And Terry Farrell?
What's your source on that?
A vague memory, so don't take it to the bank.
Okay. So you don't actually have...
So we don't have sources.
Well, it's like I heard gossip back in the day, and I was like, oh, that's neat, and then I quickly dismissed it. But then, again, it's sort of the same thing. There is documented proof that, like, she married Adam Nimoy, and so...
But yes. I know that you've been present at conventions where she was present, and sometimes in a convention room when people are being interviewed, things will come out. And so is that the kind of rumor you're talking about, first-person rumor?
No, it's not anything like that. Actually, you know, she was, I guess, thank you, Tiger. Yeah, no, I've met Terry Farrell in a fan capacity lining up, and she was absolutely lovely to me. I did pull a couple of Scots and then pulled out of it. So, yeah, no, I offended her right off the hop, and then pivoted quickly to appeal to my fandom of an appreciation of her performances. So.
But the question of Jadzia and Worf will become clearer as we get further through the episode. So
I'm going to Google it. I'm going to Google it. Did Terry Farrell and Michael Dorn knock boots?
All I want to do is say hello to DJ Knight.
DJ Knight.
DJ Knight is here. Yeah.
So is Canadian Spider-Man. Hey, Franco.
Although the Defiant is a tough little ship. You said Canadian Spider-Man is here too. Hello, Canadian Spider-Man. And who else?
Well, Franco.
Oh, Franco. Yes, I did say hi to him.
Franco's your rock upon which you build your house.
Oh yes, he's my only managing moderator. I have several wrenches, but he's the managing one. If only I could hear
Franco speak someday, I think my life would be complete.
Oh, that would be nice.
It would be.
You would be most welcome, Franco. Just let me know if you ever want a link. Is Wes Cagle on vacation? Hope he's okay. Oh yeah, our standard people who drop in on a Star Trek episode are Wes Cagle and Max Redstone, but I don't know if they're around today. They might be busy.
So I would like to apologize for my misinformation and gossip. It was inappropriate, and I shouldn't have just jumped to conclusions. But no, Terry Farrell and Michael Dorn were never coupled. They are good friends. However, there was no romantic entanglement.
Just friendship.
Both parties involved.
But they were good.
Chemistry
good
they have
news.
is professionalism as actors, and they
Absolutely.
did have some chemistry. There's no doubt about that.
PvP says they should have fed Lunchables to the aliens to serve me. Lunchables have just been a theme for this episode. I guess they're the food of the episode. I don't know, it's junk food.
So I want to give a big shout out to Avery Brooks. For those who do not like this episode, this is an episode that also Avery Brooks was like, I'm going to have no part of this. And so he shows up for approximately 35 seconds and then says, see ya. So if you're a Cisco fan, as I am, you're not going to be satisfied by this episode because there's very little Cisco.
Yes, and this is the only time we get to see him. But this is the only time today we get to see PvP. Well, maybe we'll see him later. But for now, he's got to go. Bye.
You, ma'am.
Pleasant Valley Picker. CA. And there's that Spidey. And there's his channel. Hey, chat, please don't forget to hit the like button. It really helps. It does. It's not just a thing we say. It actually does help with the algorithms. And I appreciate you mentioning it, Spidey. And yes, and I do have that clip. You asked me. I'll get clips by request, and he requested.
Plomeek is the Klingon word for love, but with more aggressive overtones.
Love? War?
Stranger things have happened.
Especially around here.
Yes.
And then, peace.
And then
Cisco
he's done.
Out. We know more
He's
Cisco.
busy. He's busy actually running the station where everybody else has these weird love triangles. So we cut to Bashir working on something to help with Kira's sneezing.
Oh, this is interesting.
And instead of morning sickness, Bajoran sneeze. And Miles can't hang out and play war with Bashir on the holodeck because he has to deal with Kira. But Miles is more worried that anyone even knows that they're fighting. And it's just a weird relationship that's going on between Miles and Keiko.
It is a literal throuple.
Kira. It's a throuple. Miles is helping Kira out of the bathtub. Why doesn't Kira just hire a nurse, or she could be in her own quarters and have a nurse there if she's concerned about being alone while she's pregnant. She doesn't need to be living with Miles and Keiko.
Yeah, it would be, well, it does make sense that the Bajorans would have handmaidens for this kind of thing, or wet nurses, or whatever. The only reason I say wet nurse is because of a bathtub.
Yeah, but wet nurse is actually, somebody to nurse your baby. So that would be if Kira can't nurse her baby. Wow, I never thought about that.
You definitely don't need a wet nurse until the baby is born.
Okay, so I don't. No, again, I'm an idiot. So,
unless there's some sort of anatomical distinction about Bajorans that I am unaware of.
Well, no, it's funny now that you mention it, and I'm going to make all of this up. Is that when Bajorans, when they give birth, they actually lie flat. They lie belly down, and it comes out of their posterior.
It's
very, very strange.
Stuff up. You don't.
Yeah, you don't have to say that Bajorans. Yeah, you don't have to.
I think
okay, you're just repeating yourself, Tiger. You're getting on a loop here. But I think you're just trying to cover up what Scotty is trying to say about making posterior babies, and
you are correct. That
doesn't work.
I have no facts
because it's Scotty's fan fiction gets kind of strange sometimes. But it actually makes sense that it gets strange for this episode because the whole damn thing is strange. But anyway, we're getting Morn, which is a good distraction from what we just talked about. But then
love this.
Yeah, me too.
Well, I love Morn.
Love Morn.
But this is terrible, though.
I will apologize for this at a later time. You are in my seat.
He hurls poor Morn off of his seat. And so this is like a Klingon. He's taken all the Klingon dating rituals and he's performing them by the book here. Demanding blood wine right in front of Grilka because that's supposed to impress her.
There's something, and it's also like this episode is kind of meta, is that because Morn is an anagram of Norm, it is kind of funny to see. There was an episode of Cheers where it's like, you're in my seat. And he's like, don't you know me? I'm Norm.
Okay.
That's my seat.
But this is the problem.
This is kind of an interesting reversal of that. And I like that Worf says, I will apologize at a later date.
But apologize nothing. He's a Starfleet officer. That is not befitting of a Starfleet officer to toss patrons of a bar off of their
Morn is a criminal, I might add.
What? No, Morn is the nicest guy ever. That's the saddest thing about this.
Well,
Morn is exactly the kind of person that you do this to because he's so nice. You know, you can impose on him.
It is the way it's written, the way it's shot is very funny until you start thinking about it too much.
I'm with Gavin.
Click on it and read it because I'm
Morn had it coming.
Morn had it coming. It's his fault for hiding all that. Yeah, he's the nicest guy. Of course, he was a part of a heist and everything, and that's a whole big episode and stuff. We'll talk about that later. I want to do that episode. That actually is a good one.
Franco Walker informs me a wet nurse is there to breastfeed the baby. The rich hired them in the Victorian era.
Correct.
I did not know that. I thought wet nurses just helped you out of bathtubs.
No, wet nurses is specifically to feed your baby.
Okay.
Right.
Hence the wet.
And, in the 24th century, they can make perfect milk. And what can a replicator make perfect breast milk? I don't know.
Oh, my stars.
Okay, I'm thinking
I'm just imagining Wesley walking up to a replicator and being like, breast milk. Warm.
Gross.
Sorry.
So gross.
That was crude.
It is, but it's not the worst thing you've said. So what's his name? I forget these Klingons' names in this episode. Phil, the elderly Klingon Phil wants a word with Worf. The
elderly Klingon is named
Tupac or Tupac.
Yes, Tupac.
Oh man, I don't. Anyway, he says, you've been dishonored. You don't have a chance with Grilka. And so my question is, wouldn't Worf already know that before he even tried to do this?
Well, Thopak is the name of the
Thopak is the one who he was challenging.
The suitor.
Right. Suitor?
Well,
fiancé?
He's actually no, he's not a
no,
he's not actually. Yes. He's like her bodyguard or something. He's
challenging Thopak to a fight is a
well,
waste
of
time.
That's very formalized then.
Plomeek, that's his name.
Mm-hmm.
And so Worf admits Grilka's the first Klingon woman he's gone after, and I said it wasn't true, or else Alexander wouldn't exist. But Scotty had to remind me that Kayla is in full Klingon, and that means she's not Klingon. So that doesn't make sense to me. She is Klingon. Kayla was beautiful, and she was a Klingon.
She was dismissive of her heritage. She embraced her human side.
Yeah, and so it follows that he would like Jadzia, I think, if he liked a Klingon like that.
Yeah. That's why I approve of Jadzia, is because she's very Kalar.
She is. I can buy that too. And that's the only reason this episode has anything like that makes sense in it.
All right.
So there we are.
So basically, Tupac
Classic
says
comics in the clip chat.
what? Computer.
Oh, did he say something else? Did I
No.
Did I miss something?
No, I was summarizing. Actually, I'm guilty of that thing that Jill just said. You're gonna say it again? Yeah, no, I won't.
Okay, so now we're aboard the Defiant, and Worf is lamenting his loss of he got rejected by Grilka's entourage, and Grilka has invited Quark to dinner, and he wants some help from Dax on Klingon manners. And
has
Quark
Dax been a
described
Klingon?
He
No.
was, or sorry, Curzon Dax. Sorry, Jill, did you want to?
Oh, you can.
Well, I'm interrupting Jill and she was rolling. I'm sorry.
No, but Curzon was an ambassador to Kronos and was very well acquainted with Kor, Koloth, and Kang from the original series. They did have a blood oath together, which is the name of the episode where you get to see that Jadzia is still in possession of the experiences and knowledge and wisdom of Curzon Dax in regards to fulfilling Klingon honor. And so, Jadzia is...
It would actually be impossible for a Dax to have been a Klingon, right? They can only really be the symbiote for this particular, the spotty race.
Species? Yeah, no, I
the
think
Trill.
the
Trill.
Okay.
Yeah, but Curzon was great friends with Klingons, so that was it.
And
he
Curzon was also
he
male,
was a Federation
right?
ambassador between, the Federation and Kronos during the spotty times.
And Dax gives Quark the advice not to advance with Grilka sexually, but instead talk about her family, get more interested in her life, and then Worf cuts in with his own research because he's very obviously researched Grilka and everything about her. So he knows. He says Grilka is from the Mekrovak region. It is customary among her people that the man brings a leg of linkta to the first courtship dinner. Make sure it's fresh, as if you had just killed it. Then use the leg to sweep aside everything on the table and declare in a loud voice, I have brought you this. From this day, I wish to provide food for you and your house. All I ask is to share your company and do honor to your name. And then, she either accepts it or not.
She either accepts it or her bodyguard will break every bone in your body.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so feet rubbing.
Meanwhile, back in the weird part of the internet where you Google things that you don't want to tell your friends, here's Miles massaging Kira. Nerys.
Yeah, this throuple actually makes me miss when it was just Miles and Keiko. But Keiko's supposed to be okay with it. That's how it's played. And
Keiko is okay with it. Don't forget in the infirmary when Miles was talking to Julian, he was like, you know what? We're not worried about it because we're adults. We are aware. And then all of a sudden it turns into like this turns into a pheromone episode.
It is. Was Luxana on the station again when she?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Where she had that illness.
That's also why we don't get very much Odo here as well. Odo is like, all right, one scene and I'm out. I'll see you guys next week.
Yeah, Odo only gets one scene. And what? Oh, this massage scene is so long. It's so uncomfortable and unnecessary. And Miles says he misses Ireland, and they start flirting. And Kira offers to go with Miles to visit his family in Ireland. And then they're like, wait a minute, what are we doing? And they're embarrassed, and everything is super awkward.
Yeah, but the best part about this scene, because it is embarrassing, it is cringe, it is super awkward, and the moment that they realize that they're like, I think we're getting a little too close, then Keiko shows up and says, hey, are you guys getting close?
Don't
going.
stop on my account.
Exactly.
Like she seems to be
She's
encouraging
this weird behavior. Keiko's a freak. I love her so much.
Like she wants them. Like
no, I know.
It really feels
O'Brien,
like she wants this.
Miles O'Brien is a 9-to-5 guy. He is so humdrum, and whenever he gets home, Keiko spices up his life. It's the same thing as Worf. Like, I like every time I see Worf and O'Brien work together. I love it when I see them hang out after hours. Because both of them are repressed. O'Brien more because he's Irish Catholic, even though he won't acknowledge it in the 24th century. But he still believes in Jesus.
Jesus.
And Worf being all like, Kahless, I know he's a clone, but I believe.
But the problem with that is
what?
Miles and Kira are co-workers. This is highly inappropriate.
You never had an office romance?
We need HR.
There's so much office
Who is HR
romance.
in this? Do we have to call Admiral Nechayev?
I'm not sure.
Well, I mean, she's carrying their child, right? Which had to have been done through...
Yes.
Yes.
Well, and
I forget how Bashir did it precisely.
I think that it is. I find it to be a reasonable sort of dynamic because Keiko is being overprotective of Kira because that's my baby.
Because she was reckless. Because she was totally reckless, and so now she's being overprotective.
I know. So, but that's not a character flaw. That's just a reaction to the life that you have led. Like, I don't think that I think it's completely within character, and maybe it's selfish, but it doesn't make me dislike Keiko. I'm like, yeah, you were reckless. There was an opportunity to save your baby, and now it's in what really should be considered your best friend of ever. Oh, will you carry my baby? Yes. You're my best friend forever. And I think that Keiko is a sort of overprotective individual to begin with. Remember,
yeah, but I mean, they could.
He was about to take off on the eve of the wedding. Let's not.
But they could just have her in the quarters next to them. She doesn't have to live in their quarters. She doesn't have to be in there. Like, it's just
how else?
Much.
How else are we going to get to be able to see Nerys in the bath?
Yeah, exactly. Miles does not need to be holding up the towel for Kira.
Or the feet thing.
Or the feet
thing.
The
I do think was done for a very specific audience.
Tarantino?
Was the foot fetish that prominent in 97?
I think the people who know.
Okay.
It's just
Makes
like
sense.
Women having babies for other women, which is very common these days. Women of wealth who really just don't want to carry their own child and they're willing to pay somebody to do it. I think this might have been a very early example of that, but it's the super wealthy who always adopt these new techniques and advances scientifically, and so it's an interesting phenomenon.
Absolutely, surrogacy.
Really early days for it.
It's true, but how many surrogates live with the people that they're having their baby?
These true surrogates are very well paid, and I do think
they're well paid.
I do think the family often expects them to live with them until the baby is born. Yes.
Really,
because
that's horrifying.
They want to keep an eye on them. Well, when you're paying hundreds of thousands of dollars for a baby, you don't want the mother to be off huffing or smoking or drinking or anything. You want to keep an eye on her, I think.
Well, and also, like, there are people who would be disinclined to discontinue pregnancy if I may be as YouTube friendly as I can be. But it's like, if you're going to put your child up for adoption and getting to know the people who would be the parents.
No, this isn't adoption. This is surrogacy.
No, but I'm
These
just
are
saying,
women who are carrying someone else's embryo. It's not.
Right.
It's not
But I'm just saying,
them at all.
But I'm just saying, I would think that it would be beneficial to know if you were putting your child up for adoption, and as a correlation to real world.
Well, I think the family who are ultimately going to keep the child want to be able to talk to it in utero. They want to be bonding with it even before it's born. So they do keep the mother very close. That's just what I've heard. I don't really know.
That's why I would be fine if they just had their quarters next to each other. They could visit her. They don't have to have her right in their face and all that.
Well,
anyway, I'm repeating myself. So I want to relax for a minute.
I'm pretty sure Keiko is going for a threesome.
Yes, she is. The way she acts in this episode, I agree with you.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh my God, I had no idea.
If you watch it, she's like, "Yeah, you guys need to get together." No, she doesn't say it, but she's
basically like, if I walk in,
you need to massage her. She's
doing harder, Miles.
Gracious.
It is. As
I don't exaggerate.
Oh no, I understand this is a thing. They talk about it all the time on Ghost these days, so I'm hip.
Right, so
and I always find it hilarious. So.
I want to relax for a minute. We're at the part of the episode where Worf is singing. He's enjoying his Klingon opera. That's a pleasant moment, right? And
I want to know what kind of security clearance Quark has that he can just walk onto the Defiant.
It's true. That's true. That is the problem with this scene, is why Quark has such easy access to the Defiant all the time. That doesn't make sense. But Worf singing is fun.
Well, always.
For Franco, it's time for a beer.
Sorry. Oh, that makes sense. You know what, Franco? I'm going to join you in that. I'll be back in 2 shakes of a lamb's tail.
Cheers.
Yes. Let me find. Thank you for the invitation, Jill. But not only don't I have a mic, I doubt my PC would handle the two-way audio. It can only just handle showing a stream.
We can find a way someday. I started off with a headset with a microphone built into it.
Oh wow, like the gamers use?
Yeah, I started off with a gaming headset initially, and it worked a treat.
Daniel is reporting news here. I read scientists confirm that the Earth is losing atmosphere. That it's creepy.
Well,
we have a magnetosphere that keeps our atmosphere on Earth. How quick of a rate are we losing atmosphere?
If it's any comfort to you, Daniel, I would say consider the source. Consider the source.
Well, that's something for me to look into for the next time we have a shore leave. I'll look into that for you because I haven't heard about that. I guess, yeah. It says Earth loses several hundred tons of atmosphere to space every day. But how serious is it? Does it regenerate? Okay. Anyway, we'll look into that later. That is very distracting to me because it's very interesting to me. Thank you, Daniel, for that topic. Heading outside to work and listen. Wow, just wow. You three are hilarious. We love you.
Oh. Well, that's a comfort. That makes me feel like I have some business being here if I can make somebody laugh.
Yes, definitely.
I mean, I've definitely seen this episode, but it's been a while. I wish I was able to watch Star Trek. It's our antenna doesn't pick up that channel. It's driving me insane.
Oh no.
Morn.
Biggest smugglers out there. And something Scotty said was gross to Franco. Well, that makes sense with this episode.
It might have been the thing with poor Wesley. Everybody dumps on Wesley.
Yeah, that's comics computer Andorian breast.
There you go. That's it. the little pink dino head screaming. That's how I feel about that.
And Herc130 says, "Okay, I'm caught up with the live stream. Thank you for your condolences. Great to see you today. It's great to see you too, Tiger Stripes." And I hope
I'm repeating something that's already happened. What happened with Herc?
Oh, I'm sorry. He last month he lost his father.
Oh, that is the hardest. That's your mom and your dad. I'm so sorry, Herc. Yeah, really hard.
Yeah, it's really rough. And others can carry the symbiote temporarily, as Riker did in that TNG episode, which introduced the Trill. Oh, that's a good point. That's a good point.
Thank you very much. That's helpful.
Absolutely.
Classic comics for the win.
It was very taxing on Riker, so it's not something you want to do, but in a pinch.
Yes, I'll take TNG for 1,000, Alex. Really good.
Why would you look at another woman when you had Keiko, says Captain?
Oh, one of those guys who's into Asian ladies. There's something about him. Mm-hmm. What? You just had a beer.
Oh, wait. Now there's whiskey involved.
I believe he's actually having a Boilermaker, only separately.
You got to remember, where he lives, it's later in the day.
Oh, no, yeah. He's in the UK, so it's not like it's only just afternoon. It's actually pub time.
Yes. You got your chocolate and my peanut butter. Got your peanut butter and my chocolate. Okay.
Yes.
Old man bird.
I'm afraid this is another thruple joke. I'm like, no.
I'm okay with this. I like chocolate and peanut butter.
Okay.
Oh, there's another soap opera title. That's very good. Classic comics. Sex, Lies, and Isolinear Chips.
Yeah, the original movie was Sex, Lies, and Videotape, which I remember as being very good, even though I haven't seen it in forever and a day. Great title, too.
I'd never heard of that. I thought he was making it completely up.
Yeah, no, it's a riff on a movie title. Very clever.
Nice. Good work. I only do threesomes with Rocky Road, mint chocolate chip, and strawberry. It says Herc130.
Ah, that's nice and safe. Good. Safe threesome.
Keiko is Kinko. Mm-hmm.
Well, maybe she's got an open mind to that. I mean, it's the future. Anything can happen.
Yeah, definitely. Well, if this episode were written today, I'd believe it even more.
I feel like I should be able to remember this. So Keiko had an accident and lost her baby, which somehow they managed to catch.
Yeah, the baby was in danger of dying, and so they somehow.
So it wasn't just that she couldn't have a baby, but this was an emergency situation.
Yes.
Interesting, because a lot of very successful women opt not to carry the baby themselves because they don't want their career interrupted these days. And I thought that might be her thing, but no, it's not. But I can see how she might want somebody to raise her child as well as birth it. That could be why she's kind of making nicey nice as well.
Oh,
she's looking for a nanny as well as a.
That's possible. I hardly ever see Molly. So where is this little girl? I don't know.
You do have to wonder.
Right, she just on off that.
Keiko's motivations.
That's believable.
Though she's very healthy. Most women would be, I think, in that circumstance, if they found their husband massaging another woman, they would be rather jealous.
Healthy?
She's got a good attitude.
I guess so.
Or she's planning a divorce. I don't know.
That's also possible. I I don't know. I'd expect anything from Keiko. But while we're here, Quark interrupts Worf's singing to compliment him, to say, "Hey, your advice was great. I went on the date with Grilka and everything was awesome." Except for the bodyguard was looking like he wanted to kill me, but that was the only problem. So, and for whatever reason, Worf seems to be very into helping Quark win courtship with Grilka, if anything, to prove that he could do the same if he had a chance with her. So, if he succeeds with Quark, it's like he succeeded himself. So that's why he's doing this. It's kind of strange,
It's
but
very
it is
Cyrano de Bergerac.
exactly.
Yeah.
That's exactly what this episode is inspired by. That exact story. So way to go! You got it right. This is definitely So this is
Yay!
yeah. This is about the play.
So he went to the date and he pounded the table with the leg and the whole thing. He's actually in love with this Klingon, isn't he? As I recall, he really has something for her. It's not just monetary or.
It feels like they're genuine. They're genuine together. You can see in Grilka's eyes that she likes Quark. She's not pretending at all. This is a real romance that they're going on, that they have going on.
I mean, which is so odd because it's Quark.
Yeah. Apparently, she looks at him like he's the most handsome devil she's ever seen. That's the way she looks at him.
That's the best, when somebody gives you the look. So rare.
So to help Quark with this endeavor, Worf and Dax begin to coach him on how to handle a bat'leth. So that's what's going to happen. So this is just talking about the successful date. And we're on the holodeck, which is looks like a nice little Klingon hall, as if they were actually on Kronos defeating each other with bat'leths. And with help, he defeats the hologram, but he can't. He's supposed to recite these words of a romantic conquest that occurred. It's like a Klingon poetry he's supposed to recite. But Worf is saying that he's saying all these words without feeling, so he doesn't actually understand the story that he's talking about. And Worf says, do not think of it as a performance. Believe in where you are. Put yourself in this time, in this place. 1,000 years ago, the dawn of the Empire, 500 warriors stormed the Great Hall at Quam Chi. The city garrison fled before them. Only the Emperor Kalis and the Lady Lurkara stood their ground. It was here that they began their greatest romance in Klingon history. And Quark says, this is ridiculous. I'm surrounded by corpses. My shoes are dripping with blood, and you want me to feel romantic? Why am I putting myself through this? And Dax says, so she puts a bit of a growl in her voice. I can't exactly do it. Because later that night, Kalis and Lurkara jumped on each other like a pair of crazed bulls. And so then we cut to Odo sharing his frustration with Kira that oh yeah, that was the growl right there. And Quark liked that. He wanted an encore. He didn't get one.
Oh, I want to ask a question real quick. You had a still earlier where Worf is saying the idea of a Ferengi courting a great lady is, and then there was just an ellipsis. Does he actually finish that sentence?
Yes.
What is the word that he uses?
Oh, he says the idea of a Ferengi courting a great lady is offensive. And Quark says, it's attitudes like that keep you people from getting invited to all the really good parties.
Oh, man, double slam. And the you people. That's one of the great phrases of life.
Yeah.
When you hear somebody else saying you people, you can kind of tick that off your, tick that box off on your list about them. It's so funny.
Right.
Offensive.
Well, Star Trek does play with that sometimes.
Oh, yes, you have to.
And Armin Shimmerman does really well in this episode in terms of delivering the jokes.
Oh, he's terrific.
And so apparently all that feet rubbing is not only sickening and possibly damaging to Miles's marriage, but also bad for productivity. Odo says this is why their thefts are Miles' fault. Odo says it's what he's not doing. He still hasn't finished upgrading the structural integrity field on Upper Pylon 3, so half the bulkheads are torn open. A child could find a way into these cargo bays. And of course, I'm with Odo here. Chief O'Brien shouldn't be letting his personal life keep him from completing tasks that are on his docket in a timely fashion.
Oh, pardon me.
And the problems don't even stop there, because Miles is chief of operations. He's not just a regular engineer here. He's also responsible for other people's work too. So this should have even gone deeper. I'm sure many of his crew know what they're doing, but how many tasks are being neglected simply because Miles hasn't assigned them to the other crew? And they are not. I mean, if the
that's
tasks,
dropping every ball.
Yeah, if the tasks are not part of the crew's normal maintenance routine, there are lots of things not getting done on the station that we don't even know about. Things are falling apart. And I also love
well,
this.
Cisco's happy. It's always a good thing when the boss doesn't show up.
I love this exchange, though. Kira says, we're closer. It's like I'm part of his family. And Odo, I wish there was more Odo, because he puts a balance.
Can I do this line? Can I do this line?
Oh, yeah. No, well, let's put it. I'll put it in the private chat. There isn't a lot. There isn't a lot
right.
for this.
Can you be Kira? Who's going to be Kira?
Yes, I'll be Kira.
Right.
We're closer. It's like I'm part of his family.
Which part?
What?
Which part of his family are you? Sister? Daughter? Cousin?
Could we concentrate on the criminal activities report? And there's
I don't have any more lines. Of course. And I'll refrain from making any further disparaging remarks about the chief. I mean Miles.
Because she's referring to O'Brien, not as his Chief O'Brien, but as Miles. And so that's
there's a lovely exchange before that as well, where it's like, what are you talking about? I always liked Miles. And Odo says, no, you've always liked the chief, but now it's Miles. And Kira says something along the lines of, shut up. So I love this. And also, and the thing on a production level is that I love that Rene Auberjonois is always bringing his A game, no matter what, a throwaway joke scene, and he embodies Odo, and like he's just such an amazing performer, and one of the greatest additions to the Star Trek lore.
He's definitely a bright spot in this episode for me, even though it also plays into the soap opera, because there's also a thing with Odo and Kira. Odo and Kira, and they do mention in the episodes Shakara or whatever it is that she's currently involved with right now. How does he feel about her? Well, I guess it doesn't matter what he thinks. They saved a baby's life.
I'll refrain from making any further disparaging remarks about the chief. I mean, Miles.
My stars! What a golden gentleman. I love Rene Auberjonois and everything that I encounter.
Ditto. He always raises the bar of anything that he's in. And he chews the scenery a bit as Odo, but I think when you're wearing a heavy mask like that, you kind of have to kind of come through it, and it works. Oh, Caserta.
James Caserta is here, and like you'd expect, he says, have your Keiko. And you've got it's on screen.
Eat it too. I will. Finger licking good is what I'll say. Kentucky Fried Keiko.
Wow. Canadian Spider-Man says it may be controversial, but in my experience, guys can be the most romantic. Sickening, really. Yeah, that's true. And well, that's how we.
Depends
that's
on
how
how
we
you
enjoy
define
it.
romance. Depends on how you define. But I do think men take the loss of love harder. than women
You know
do.
what? As a dude, I will accept that. I think you're absolutely correct.
Oh, Canadian Spider-Man thinks Quark is the best character on DS9, and he's definitely one of the hardest working characters, which we'll get to when we get through more of the episode, is how hard Armin worked on this episode. Is very impressive. Life gets very complicated when you get into relationships. Stressful. Dang, Miles should have chosen better.
What was that previous crack about women getting to choose? Because that's such rubbish. That's such rubbish.
Oh, what happened?
There was a previous comment that flew by, and it kind of is interesting in this context too, because it's really Jadzia who puts the moves on Worf ultimately, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's the women who decide who they want. It's not up to
it
us
flew
men.
by.
Yes.
Well, but also, like, I can understand the perspective, but I think that's also like if dudes.
I'm needed.
Yeah.
I'll be right back.
Oh, okay.
But Tiger Stripes.
Yes, sir.
I do understand that perspective in terms of women being the gatekeepers.
Well, I'm going to have to go find this in the comments now because I actually barely got to read it.
Okay. Makes sense.
Or read it for me so I can comprehend what we're talking about.
Who said?
It just flew by.
Okay, well,
I think Jill found it a little. There's always the unending war between men and women, but I don't want to talk to something that I actually haven't. Well, here we go. It was Franco of all people to Canadian Spider-Man. We have to be. It's the women that decides who they want. It's not up to us men. Although he says say LOL, and
yeah, the LOL means a lot.
It's I guess he's talking about being romantic.
Well, but I do think that there is a certain I don't know. Maybe it's my deficiency as an alpha male, but like I do see women as being a gatekeeper. If I express affection, it is theirs to accept or refute.
And yet you are the person who has to make the first move.
That's my
ritually.
Job. Yeah.
Yes, that's your job. And so women don't really get to choose. And I mean, of course women do. Well, of course there are women who pursue men. But
if I say to a lady and I'm like, do you want to come over to my place and watch some Deep Space Nine? I have done my job. And if they say no, well, now I do that a bunch of times.
That's a little too fast of a first move in my humble opinion.
Really? Deep Space Nine is too spicy of a television show to watch.
You're asking her over to your house? Oh, no. Guys are always saying to me, how do I do? What do I do? I'm like, ask her for a cup of coffee.
That's a lot safer.
Yeah,
you don't want to.
You want to go to
on a
place
first date
with other people are present. Ask her on
right.
a
You don't want
to over to my windowless van for some candy.
Exactly. You don't want to go over to their house or go on.
Yeah, you can't go to the house first shot.
Yeah, okay.
You can't go to the house,
right. Totally.
And you also can't go on long road trips.
Well, you can, but then you're really going to learn who that other person is. But no, not as a first date. No long road trips. No traveling to a second destination with someone you barely know.
Well, no, but you know what? It's funny that you bring that up is that the last long-term relationship I had known the lady for a while, and then we started getting romantic. And then it was like 2 weeks after we started getting romantic, and I was like, do you want to travel out of province? And she was like, well, this is weird. And I was like, I know. And we went, and I didn't kill her or nothing.
But you'd known each other for a long time.
We had known each other for a little bit, so there was
different.
a trust and
a long time is not a little bit, and you're changing your parameters here constantly.
Well, no,
What is the truth? What is the truth, Scotty?
You can't handle the truth. No. No, we had known each other for like a year or so, and
okay, yeah, that's a long time.
Yeah, okay. Meanwhile, back on the station, here's Philip Morris.
Yes, we've had our lovely break now.
Yes.
Although somehow I'm still on top, Jill. I demand that you ascend.
I thought I fixed that.
It's your channel, Jill. There you go.
That's true. I think we just keep playing ping pong. All right. So we're at Quark's bar. Well, I want people to know Tiger Stripes is here. You know, if you want to know.
But that's okay. I came in last, and I have very old memories of this really lovely episode. So no, I think I should be on the bottom so that I'm a little more obscured when you bring up some text. It's
the only block from the bottom and you put it on top. You take a block from the middle, then you put it on top. That's how you build a tower, and you don't stop. That's how you build a Jenga, putting blocks on top.
I have never heard that commercial before. Thank you. That's good. I'll have to look.
I think I messed up the lyrics.
No, it was perfect. It was absolutely amazing. I'm gonna have to go find it. But we're at Quark's bar, and Plomeek and Plomeek are discussing this whole affair, and Plomeek is completely outraged, and Plomeek says, "You shouldn't judge her."
Like, he's so good. My favorite Phil Morris performance in all of Star Trek is when he is third Ramata Klan of the Jem'Hadar. But he is still really good as a Klingon here. But when I found out it was Phil, I was like, oh man, I'm looking at Phil. I'm not looking at a Klingon. I'm just admiring Philip Morris.
Philip Morris's first role in Star Trek was all the way back in the original series as well. He played he was one of the children in the episode Miri.
Wow, incredible. That's so nice.
It is. And
yes, this line gives me agita. I'm worried that there might be some sort of ritual murder, honor murder going to happen when they start off a sentence that way.
Yeah, you're exactly right. You're exactly right, Tiger Stripes. That's exactly what's going to happen. Philip Morris was also Cadet Foster in Star Trek 3, which somebody in the chat mentioned. Shout out to whoever that was.
Ooh.
Remind me who said it, because they mentioned it. And then of course he was also he's also going to show up as Jem'Hadar later on, and also in a Voyager episode that I want to review called One Small Step. I think I really like that episode. And of course, as I said before, he's done lots of other things too. He's been on Babylon 5.
He was in Mission Impossible, like his father before him.
And Seinfeld. Oh, his father was...
Oh, yeah, he's Jackie Childs, for the love of Pete.
His father was Greg Morris.
Oh, yeah.
And so the actor's name is Philip Morris, because my brother and I were just talking about who played Jackie Childs the other day. Interesting.
Oh, he's great.
Definitely. And,
I concur.
Oh, he was also in the animated series Justice League. That's fun. And some other stuff. Oh, he also played alongside Robert Picardo in what?
Well, he was in a Voyager episode.
Well, but also Smallville.
Oh, I never saw it. I had a friend who was really obsessed with Smallville, but...
Me too. I had a friend who was also obsessed with Smallville, and he really wasn't the kind of guy to get obsessed.
And anyhow, Plomeek is complaining about Quark's courtship with Groka, and they Tomek tries to tell him, don't judge Grilka, it's not your place. But just then they both arrive and they're both having a positive interaction. They're just enjoying each other's company. And Grilka questions why Quark is pursuing her and observing Klingon culture to the degree with which he is doing. And to answer this, he falls back on his Ferengi culture, saying she may be worth all the latinum in the quadrant. And she calls him my Kalis, and he calls her my Lucara. And so far, so they're just... Miles is too busy taking care of Kira to get anything done around the station. And there are other, I'm sure there are other things that people aren't doing. They just specifically talk about Miles. How much is not getting done because of this crazy love triangles that are thrown all over the place?
Now, I would like to offer something, and it is completely headcanon that I just made up.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure that Ben and Miles talked about the whole sitch. And I'm not saying they got drunk together. I'm saying that
they went to a baseball game. They had a beer.
Yeah, they went to a baseball game. That is actually a great idea. Is that I think that they went to a baseball game, probably a classic, a World Series, something with Buck Bukai, not Bukai. And I think Ben was just like, so, Chief, this is weird, right? Something like that. And they hashed it out and they talked about it. And maybe, I know Odo wants all the dampening fields to be repaired and all that jazz, but Ben is taking care of it. And he's like, give him, he's kind of got a weird situation for a human. I'm a human myself, don't you know? And so I think he's giving Miles O'Brien a wide berth. Have you met his wife, Chief? Sorry, Constable. Do you want to upset Keiko? And Odo's like, oh heavens, no. I hear she pegs. No, sorry.
No, okay, you took it too far when you said that.
Oh, come on.
But that's already part of your
lost in the middle
fiction.
about who was what and what we were talking about. I'm sorry.
Essentially what Scott is saying is that they had a heart-to-heart where
and that there's some
Sisko
sort of understanding between Sisko and Miles, and so Sisko is picking up the slack for Miles.
Yeah,
because if that were true, Odo would not be complaining.
Exactly what I was about to say, Tiger Stripes. Precisely, he wouldn't be complaining.
Yeah, but don't forget Odo is spicy because of how much time Kira is spending with Miles.
But I also think Odo is compulsively honest.
Odo's not a liar.
That's part of his nature. As a compulsively honest person myself, I recognize
on the same wavelengths here.
Same.
Mm-hmm. He wouldn't lie, so I definitely agree with that. And so if Sisko really did have this discussion with him, he would have hired a temporary chief of operations to take over. He
definitely would have delegated it.
Miles, yes.
Yeah, but remember what happened when he brought in Eddington? Yeah, like Sisko does not like bringing in temps.
Okay.
I don't think anybody should. It's also a slap in the face to the people that you're replacing, even temporarily, unless they're out on maternity or paternity leave.
Well, it is essentially
this is essentially that. But you don't have to hire from outside the station. Just pick the next best engineer to pick up his slack for a little while.
Is Rom an engineer yet?
No, I don't know what he's doing.
Yeah, I don't know where it is in the storyline.
It's season 5. He should be.
Is that the Ferengi kid?
Yeah. Well, no, that's Nog.
It's old. It's the Ferengi kid's
brother
dad.
Is Rom.
Okay.
Nog's father is Rom.
Got it.
Yeah. But anyway,
he's an exceptional engineer.
He is. One time he fixed everything with the spatula.
And that's the best way to do it.
So anyhow, Thopak, the younger Klingon, is just he's fed up with all this. He's gonna listen to Tumek's advice. He just throws the table over, along with Quark. Still sitting on the table.
Flip the table on them bitches.
Flip the table. Yes. And I think I need Scotty to read this. I don't have.
Oh yeah.
Let's do this.
Let's go. Where are we? Forgive me, mistress, but I cannot watch this any longer. I will not protect a house where you are welcome, Ferengi. You are a coward and a liar, and you have no honor. So tomorrow, you will kill me, or I will kill you. First time I've ever done it.
So yes, Tiger Stripes, well remembered. You remembered it even without remembering it. That yes, now Quark's life is either in danger or he has to give up Roka. And so that's the problem there. But it's just weird that Keiko is actually affectionate to Miles in this episode. Because it's a sight that's not seen very often. It's very rare.
Hush your face.
It's a rare thing. I'm sorry.
Well,
but
also, and again, I'm going to steel man your argument. The only reason she is being this affectionate is because Miles has said, they don't need me. I have shirked my duties. I came here to be romantic with you so that I don't think about the woman who is carrying my child. So,
yeah, he's right. He's got a lot of guilty feelings right now.
Yeah, and he's like, you know what'll cure this? If I have sex with my wife, which is, good advice.
Yeah.
But
honesty wouldn't be a good idea.
Yeah. And then Kira walks in, and it's like, this party needs some canard.
Well, yeah, that is the problem. And so Kira has the great idea of going to Bajor to get as far away from Miles as possible because they're developing feelings. And I thought it was just lust. I was hoping that's all it was.
Right.
But the end of the episode fucks that up. Sorry.
No, it does. Hey, Gorilla. But yeah, no, this is... And also, I would like to say, Nana Visitor and Cole Meany have zero chemistry. Like
it's
they are
Nana
performing
and
the
not
lines.
Nana.
Sorry?
I always pronounce her name Nana. It's actually Nana? Or you're just saying that because you're Scottying it?
No, I want to be respectful to the pronunciation of her name.
Oh no, I believe you. You're the big fan. No, that's interesting.
From what I understand, her name is Nana.
Well, okay, I'm just going to say from a personal viewpoint, I don't know that I get chemistry from her very often with anyone. She seems to always be always all business, top end, surface level. I'm here, I'm competent, I'm executing everything beautifully, but you're never really going to know who I am. Haven't you ever worked with someone like that?
Well, the only examples that I really have are Vedic Bareil, which I don't think she had very good chemistry with. But with Minister Shakar, I think she actually did. But that's also because the guy who played Shakar is so charismatic, he could roll with anything. He could roll with a person who was like, I hate you, and he would be adoring. And
I don't want to diss her as an actor. I'm just saying, for sometimes you have a feeling for one actor over another, somebody you're really attracted to. Other people are like, pass. And when it comes to Riz, I don't quite get that rolling off of her.
And we never really got to see a balanced performance of her actually falling in love with anybody because she's either this way, like you said, all business, or she's an insane lush. like she is in the mirror universe. So there was never any kind of
She
middle
was
ground.
in the mirror universe. Now that's somebody I can kind of relate to. She was a piece of work.
Like, she's not that far removed when she's in tendon to Kira. So, yeah.
And I think that might be her choices as an actor, character choices as an actor. I find all Bajorans kind of like that. I don't know what it is. You'd think I would relate more now that I'm getting those little wrinkles on my nose.
But the thing is, like, Bajorans, sadly, Star Trek aliens are stereotypes to a certain degree, and I always find the Bajorans, I view them through the same prism that Gul Dukat does. These spiritual, like, pious lemurs. Like, I don't know how to think of I underestimate the Bajorans at every turn.
That is an excellent question, Keiko.
Yeah, what if you go into labor when you're on Bajor? Well, that's a perfect place to go into labor with other Bajorans.
But she wants to be there when her baby's born.
That's true. I guess so.
Keiko, don't you understand that Miles has been in labor since the day he said I do?
Yay, man! You're absolutely right, Scotty. I can't believe you said it, though.
I love Keiko, but I still acknowledge, like, the more and more I hear about people saying, like, it's like, what about this? What about that? And it's like, yeah.
This
Keiko
episode, it to me is continuing the narrative that O'Brien must suffer.
I always liked Keiko too, but I think it's because she's got like zero filter. She's so direct.
Yeah. Like, people hate
But she's
Keiko,
also really selfish.
Well, there's something up there, but it's oh boy, I'm veering into racist territory here. It's that Asian woman tiger mom thing. All the guys who think Asian women are sort of meek and subservient, and no, when you really meet them, oh no, they are very strong. They are crazy strong.
Well, and Keiko also was in MASH.
So,
the television series as a child?
Yeah.
No. Nice. She, as an adult, she married Klinger.
Get out.
Rosalind Chow, yeah. I don't know her name in the show, though.
I'm sort of, okay, that makes sense. She must have been very young then. She must have been in her 20s.
Yeah, probably in her early 20s. Late teens, sure.
God, I had no idea.
Yeah. No,
I mean,
Rosalind
I used to
Chow
watch
is a prolific actress.
Well, good for her.
Mm-hmm.
So Keiko tries to get Miles to massage Kira, and they successfully avoid that. Then Kira says, I'm going to go to Bajor to hang out with a friend for a while. And
I'm going to go to adult websites now.
Keiko's upset that, oh no, what if you go into labor? And you got to take Miles with you. And so she's pushing for for them to be together.
Yeah, you guys should go to that romantic resort. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe you guys will, maybe. What if Keiko's trying to leave Miles?
I'm getting a vibe. I'm definitely getting a vibe.
we Tiger Stripes and I said the very same thing when you were missing.
Sure. So she's trying to get out, but she can't. She's a dissatisfied Starfleet.
You just get the feeling she's packing her parachute.
Well, there were lots of moments in Deep Space Nine where Keiko says, "I'm just not happy here. I don't like being here." That's why she
actually left, right?
Yeah, she leaves the Bajor to do her plant stuff.
She's a what? Herbologist? Oh no, I'm confusing.
Botanist.
Yeah.
She's trying to be a school teacher for a little while, but then somebody blows that up.
Yeah, I don't see
that would have been the best
teacher.
It would have been the best end to this episode, and it's like Nerys looks at Miles and says, "So we kill Keiko?" And then Miles is like, "All right."
No.
I'm with Tiger, but it's a good joke.
Thank you.
So that's happening. And
meanwhile,
obviously,
back
Keiko,
with Archie and Reggie.
Well, but obviously Miles and Kira feel very awkward about admitting that they're getting too close to one another, and this in these sort of sitcom situations, no one knows how to just be honest. And I don't think that Kira and Miles are actually. I was hoping this was true. I was writing this as I was watching the episode, and I forgot about the line that comes later. I was hoping that they weren't actually falling in love, but that they were just in too much of like with each other. They're just too close, getting too intimate. And that's why Miles looks horrified when Keiko makes him go on the trip with Kara. And I know, I guess, of course, the idea is they don't want to hurt Keiko, but by being dishonest, that would have made it even more worse if they did end up betraying her.
Well, I think it's mostly hormonal.
Like I hormones are not an excuse.
Oh, I think Miles is starving for affection.
That's true. That's true. Keiko doesn't really give him a whole lot.
The man's Irish.
What does that mean? Like, obviously, I'm Scottish, but what is an Irish person? What is that?
You are,
what are the,
you're
what
not
are the defining
Scottish.
categories?
You're no Scottish.
I'm Scot. I am Scottish.
Okay, so the rules.
Yes.
If you're a woman, you want to snare a guy, you have to figure out if he is. These are the Southern rules specifically. You have to figure out if he's mama dependent or mama deprived. And then you sort of try to simulate that. And every guy just, responds to that like there's no tomorrow. So in this situation, I would say that as a good Irishman, Miles is mama dependent. But he ain't getting that in terms of affection.
Yeah, no, I understand. Yeah.
I never considered that as a thing. Nobody ever taught me that. Interesting.
I had to read a book. Somebody gave me a book, actually. It was the last relationship I had. A good male friend of mine just handed me the book and said, "Read it." I'm like, "All right."
Was it Green Eggs and Ham?
No, it's the Southern Rules.
I guess I survived without it. So
you did just fine.
Hey, Jill, remember when we said that this episode wouldn't be able to fill an entire episode, and now we're 2.5 hours in?
I was worried about it. Now I'm like almost running out of time.
Yeah,
we got to butt in. I need to let Jill.
No, it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. No.
You synopsize so beautifully.
Well, I do, but the butting in makes the live stream a little more colorful and exciting. So do it a little
butting
bit.
in, it's interjecting.
Yeah, it's interjecting.
Interjections.
Yes.
Interjections.
Show excitement. Anyway, back on the Defiant, Quark tries to figure out what to do.
When do we go live?
Quark hopes to win by throwing away his bat'leth and daring Thopak to kill him. But that's what they did last time, and the writers wanted to come up with a new way to do it. I mean, it won't work this time because no one's around to stop Thopak because...
Oh, yeah, that guy will kill him.
Yeah. Worf and
Jadzia and also, it's nice that Gowron was the guy who, spared Quark's life.
It was.
And it was also the first appearance of Gowron on DS9. And it was just so random when that happened. And it was like, oh shit, we get Robert O'Reilly? That's great.
This is where I think the writing kind of falls apart a bit. Just a second ago, they say, oh, Worf and Jadzia are not allowed to be there at this battle. And suddenly Dax has the idea to have Worf remote control Quark so that Quark can fight like Worf.
And that is the tiniest little table I've ever seen. It's like for children.
Yeah, it's probably they probably got it from surplus school.
Maybe it's for small aliens.
Like Peter Dinklage?
Just shorter than average species. But
at the same time, this is also what makes this episode like that play that we were talking about before. Mm-hmm. The Bergeron play. And so so they make this device. Somebody creates this device that, well, let me show you. There's a production picture. Do I have it here? Yes, I do.
Oh, nice.
There's the back of.
Wow, that is so intense.
By the way, that is the back of a Ferengi head. That is not a picture of a butt or a bosom.
That's
that
right.
looks clearly a Ferengi head because of the ears. Incredible.
I got weirded out when I saw it because remember in the early days of the Ferengi,
and so this is the artist
veil on the back of the head of all the Ferengis, and Quark never had one of those. And so when I saw Quark with one of those sort of like back of the head veils, I was like, "What up with that?" And then I realized it was to conceal the, I don't know.
They were tired of all the butthead jokes.
The butt.
They were tired of all the butthead jokes. That's why they wore the little veils.
Yes.
Nice lumps, says Frank.
I guess that makes sense. But Rom likes to wear them.
My lumps. My lumps.
Yeah, so this is just to show off the headset that they wear. All right, Scotty, I want to talk about the headset. And the headset was an idea from Ron Moore because he wanted to use, something science fiction-y to do the part of the play where in the play the other guy who's helping the other guy just like talks to him, he whispers to him the right things to say. So instead of that, this is Worf obviously puppeteering Quark into actually being good at the battle.
Right.
But the book, the Deep Space Nine Companion says he did hash the idea with Andre Bormanis. If just so everybody knows, Andre Bormanis is the science consultant on Deep Space Nine and lots of Star Trek. To see if the basic concept was sound, happily it was. We described the puppet suite as a web of sensors and actuators that would allow Worf's movements to be translated to Quark instantaneously so that he would be manipulated into mimicking Worf's skills with the bat'leth, Bormanis says. That sort of remote control is pretty sophisticated even today. It's like the technology that effects people are using to create digital animation. You put on a kind of sensor suit that tracks the position of your body from moment to moment, and the computer stores that as digital data that it then uses to create an animated wireframe model. So that's the actual inspiration for this. That only actual hint of science fiction in this episode. So I wanted to talk about it.
That's great. Fascinating.
Although it is kind of it does anytime you turn somebody into a puppet remote controlled, I do think of Spock's brain. But that's just a consequence. And then so Dax has this idea for Worf to be able to remote control Quark.
Have you ever heard the story about that one time that there were like surgeons who did a heart surgery between New York and Paris, and they did it remotely, and there
with robots?
Yeah, with robots, and they controlled like mechanisms to make the things do the things that they wanted to do. Like, it's not. I think it's admirable. I think it's one of those things that was science fiction before it came to truth. Kind of like iPads.
Absolutely. Yeah, that is incredible. That is good. Two doctors who can't even meet each other.
No, it was one doctor, but then he was using a robot.
Oh, okay. I thought it was a collaboration. Because I was going to be...
I'm sure there was someone on the other end being like, yeah, we're connected.
Yeah, that's what I was picturing. An actual doctor in the actual site connecting with the other doctor who was performing the surgery is what I envisioned from
that.
And
the doctor on the other end was like, stop with the stabbing. What are you, an insane person?
Well, luckily it sounds like that didn't happen.
That did not happen. I made that up.
But I will. I want to promise everybody in the chat that I will come back to you guys. We're getting to the actual
We have to finish the
climax
episode.
to this episode, and we're gonna finish
Yes.
it. We're gonna go now. This is where it's gonna be easy because
Right.
now we have Dax. She's finally doing the thing that this whole episode was meant for, which is to flirt with Worf and to tell him, "Hey, I like you," and Worf is still being oblivious to it. She kind of questions, "What do you even see in Grilka anyway?" And he says, "It is everything about her, the way she carries herself, confident and strong. She commands those
It's all
around her."
superficial.
Yeah, the proud tilt of her head, the way her face betrays none of her true feelings. Sorry. The power of her voice and her eyes is hard as separate gemstones and twice as sharp. And she says, "That sounds like you're describing the statue." What would you do with a woman like that? Like that? Put her up on a pedestal and clean her every week? If I were in your shoes, I would be looking for someone a little more entertaining, a little more fun, and maybe even a little more attainable. And then they have a cute line about shoes. Watch the episode if you want it. It's really adorable.
You wouldn't be able to, you wouldn't comprehend. You wouldn't believe the things I can do in a pair of 14 shoes.
Size 18 boots.
Is it 18? I thought it was 14. Okay.
Yeah, size 18. Jeez.
18? Who's talking here, Dax?
Shaquille O'Neal.
Oh my God, that's
Dax.
Peggy Hill size feet.
Well, no,
That's
it's
a person with pontoons who could walk across a lake.
She's talking about Worf's foot size, not hers.
Ah, okay.
How big are Worf's feet? Do you know?
Confused.
They
Size
said
18 apparently.
Is Worf size 18 in his feet? This is canon
that's
now.
like an unusually large foot size.
He's a Klingon.
Yeah, but that's like clown shoes.
Well,
He's a tall Klingon.
I've never asked this nerdy a question. What is the shoe size of Worf?
What is
that is
Cork?
the nerdiest
That is
question
super nerd.
I've ever asked.
It is.
But it just happened. It just happened.
I know. I'm just.
It was part of the dialogue.
Yep.
And okay, so the companion helps a little bit here. The idea kicked around the halls for a while. Reports more. Then we decided to do it with Quark, and that became the Cyrano setup. Worf, Quark, and Grilka. But as soon as we started looking at it more seriously, we realized that it was an opportunity to put Dax and Worf together. The concept of a Dax-Worf relationship had been germinating for some time. Ever since the writers noticed the flirtatious way Terry Farrell played her scenes with Doran. Notes more, we could see the chemistry working on the camera, especially when she was taking the steam out of Worf, and he was reacting to her. There was obviously something to play there, so we started to write it, and the more we wrote, the more we liked it. With the addition of yet another beautiful female protagonist in the mix, the tragic Cyrano story took on a whole new level of romance and led it away from the initial source material. So you guys, if you haven't voted in the poll yet, it's still up. So far, did Worf and Jadzia ultimately become a worthy romantic pairing? Is still sitting at 60 versus 40 with 30 votes.
Well, thanks for interacting, yo.
Yeah, thank you guys. But I also want to tell you a little bit about Armin Shimmerman and all the hard work he did in this episode, starting with how he's
handling. Do I have time to have a cigarette?
How he's handling the batleth.
We're wrapping it up.
I know. I have enough time.
Well,
just put it off.
Scotty?
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, that would be nice. So I just wanted to highlight how hard Armin Shimmerman did work for this episode. He did many of his own stunts during the fight scenes.
Ooh.
He practiced
really?
he practiced at home for 10 days.
I thought I saw stunt doubles.
You might have. It said he did many of his own stunts, so maybe not all of them.
Sure.
Many, not all. I got pretty good with the batleth, actually. Shimmerman also worked with a mime artist to make it look as if the batleth had a mind of its own at the end of the fight. So that was he did extra work nobody asked him to do.
You know what I found really
That's the
fascinating
best.
about the Armin Shimmerman as Quark and Michael Dorn as Worf doing the choreography between the two of them, they were in perfect synchronization. And I thought I was like, oh wow. Like they were selling the technology of puppetry, but they were doing it side by side. And if you're Armin Shimmerman and you're standing next to Michael Dorn, who is, I would assume, the world's greatest batleth.
Yeah, he's got trophies.
He's got trophies, right?
Wow.
And so, like, for them to do side by side, I thought that Armin Shimmerman emulating Michael Dorn's choreography was impressive.
It was wonderful. And Andy Robinson credits the success of the fight sequence to the choreography that he worked out with Star Trek's resident martial arts expert and Klingon blade master, Dan Curry. Dan is the batleth specialist, and he was enormously helpful. Robinson enthuses. He has a really good film sense, so he actually helped me visualize and design some shots. And of course, as I already mentioned, Armin Shimmerman also worked really, really hard on this. He says, so I went to Dan and he gave me lessons. I borrowed a batleth, took it home for 10 days, and worked on the maneuvers he practiced with me. So most of the fight is actually me fighting. I got pretty good with the batleth, actually. So yes, and then the mime stuff. And then the fight continues and things are looking good in terms of this until Worf breaks his VR device. And so Dax has got to fix it because I guess she made it to begin with. We were not really told how this thing was made, but it was her idea, so I guess she made it.
I wish, and I don't know what it is. Maybe it might have been the makeup. I don't know what the budget of the episode was, but I wish that there was more of an indication as to what Worf was reacting to. Like, I wish they had a holographic Phil.
Oh, right. Because you're supposed to just imagine that he can see what's happening, but you want to see
I didn't know how he was seeing the fight. Yeah.
You wanted like a monitor or something for our benefit. I would have liked that too. So, like he's playing a video game, right? This is a VR headset. But
yeah, that's what I thought. But I wish that there was more of a visualization of that for the audience.
Oh, absolutely. But so this device is broken. So now Quark is on his own. So he does what he knows how to do, which is to
lie.
Yes, he makes up the right of proclamation as a Ferengi custom, convincing Grilka to side with him to respect Ferengi culture because he has shown so much respect to Klingon culture. So that rapport with Quark helps buy him some leeway with Grilka. She says, you know, he's been observing our culture. Let's observe his. And so then this talking continues, and
don't you think this is one of the best diplomatic things that has ever happened between the Klingon Empire and the Ferengi
and
Alliance?
The Ferengi? Absolutely. Yeah. I don't know that they actually had much positive interaction diplomatically aside from this.
This is the best it gets.
Yeah, and Worf is surprised that Quark is still alive. And Quark is still alive because he says this. I can't read this. Oh my God. You have to read
this. Can I read it?
Yes, please.
Tiger could read it. Do you think
Tiger
she could do
too.
it? Tiger, do you want to do it?
Oh, it looked like you were up for it, Scotty.
No, I know, but like you haven't read anything, so it's up to you. If you do you want to or no?
You're the experts. You go.
All right. Well, let's not go crazy. So anyway. He is being overly dramatic, so I will as well. To this end, my blade soars through the aquarium of my soul, seeking the kelp of discontent, which must be cut so that the rocky bottom of love lie in waiting with fertile sand for the coming seed of Grilka's affection? And yet, does this explain my need for her? No. It's like a giant cave of emptiness, waiting for the bats of love to hang by. Well, I suppose that's enough talking.
Yes, because at that moment, Worf regains control. And at this point, I want to ask a question. Would Worf really cheat like this? Isn't this kind of a dishonorable act a little bit? To remote control.
That's his human upbringing.
Or Jadzia's influence.
All's fair in love and war.
And it's very, very strange, and it's very, very interesting. And I don't know if I'm supposed to. I don't know if I'm supposed to air public grievances, but like I have a friend, and I have decided that I am Klingon, and I've decided that she is Trill, and I've decided that her friends are Ferengi. And the thing is that I have bent to her Ferengi friends for the sake of learning. I don't know how to do it. But if you think it's important for you, I'll do it. And I think that this is Worf saying, well, fine. If I'm going to get kicked to the curb, I'll help your friend. I'm not going to like it. And then...
Well, that's a really wild metaphor that you have going on there. But I like what Quark says. Well, that's enough talking. Now back to the fighting. So,
yes.
So no. And so they've got to finish this, and they do. So.
Yeah, so Worf kicks ass.
He does. He kicks ass. Though Spock says, "End it," and Quark says, "If you insist." But Worf can't make the kill. So what happens is. Well, he doesn't want to. He doesn't want to kill him.
He could. He could have killed him.
He could have. I'm not saying he. When I say can't, I mean his heart. It's too.
Also,
big.
let's not forget that Klingons have two hearts.
Mm-hmm. And so what he does instead is he picks up. Quark picks up Dopak's sword, his batleth, and presents it to Grilka, and so that's as good as winning the fight. Nobody has to die. And Grilka says, Dopak, your honor is satisfied. I return your weapon and discharge you from my house. And that's the end of that. Grilka takes and then there's Worf initiates the passion, and then immediately Dax turns off the device. Like, okay, no more virtual reality for you. You don't get to see what happens next.
That's right. Although it is, there's a bunch of stuff. Anyway, so after the fight ends, it's basically Rodney Dangerfield from the end of Caddyshack, and it's like, we're all gonna get laid, and that's what happens. So Grilka and Quark, they enjoy the romantic body pressing, and then Jadzia is like, are you so stupid that you don't even notice how wet I am? And then she decides to jump on top of Worf
They do their fighting ritual that they presented
They
earlier.
do whatever. I don't know. They rub cloacas. I don't know what trilling is going on.
Lurka, and Lucara and Kalis
Yes.
romance poetry. They recite it to each other, and they
Yeah.
fight, and then they fight.
They fight. Fight. It's
Anyway,
Jadzia and Worf's show.
And then on the runabout, Kira and Miles are about to go to Bajor for her stay at her friend's house, but then she starts describing the romantic cottage that they're going to stay at and how it has a view. And Miles says, "You know what? That's enough. I'm staying. I'm just going to say you left without me."
Yeah.
And Kira couldn't be happier. So she's excited. She's going to go see Shakar instead, which is a good idea. But see, I wish they just left it like that. But they had to throw it in that they were actually in love because they said, O'Brien says it would have been nice. And Kira says, in another life. And that completely ruins the whole thing.
I don't think so. Why do you think so?
Well, the only thing that would have made it worse is if they actually had kissed. So at least they avoided that.
It was so good that they didn't kiss. I was so happy they didn't kiss.
Me too.
But the thing is that like why I don't understand. Why is it upsetting?
Because that means that their feelings
considering the intimate nature of their relationship, like I'm not surprised. And I think it's interesting based on the beginning of the episode where it's like Miles is lecturing Julian and he's like, you know why? Because we're adults. And then at the end of the episode, he's a high school kid. I like that dichotomy. I like that sort of transition. And I like that they come to an adult decision.
That's true. But I was
Miles,
just
I know that you enjoy cake or digging. And I'm never willing to do that.
Okay. Well, at least they can control themselves that much. But
yes.
Yeah, but it's more complicated that they love each other rather than just being, too intimate. It's, the love.
I think it heightens.
You can love a person that you don't want to be intimate with, though.
That is true.
Mm-hmm. Well,
I think it's again character episode. I love the character episodes.
I just hate the O'Brien stuff in this episode. I want to throw a fit about it, but I am glad to have covered another Star Trek episode.
Throw a fit about it. Don't restrain.
Yeah, no, you got to tell us how you feel.
Yeah. Why are you hiding things from us, Jill?
There's always something a little awkward about O'Brien's female relationships. He's kind of an awkward dude. He's like Scotty in that regard, isn't he? Scotty was always kind of awkward with the ladies.
That's right.
Jordy.
I think it's part of endemic to being an engineer. I've known a lot. When you go to a science fiction convention, you meet a lot of engineers, and they are awkward guys often. Not all, but often.
That's right. Things do go sideways when Scotty is in love. You're not wrong. But Julian has to.
Song? Scotty's in love.
I've never heard it. But Jillian has to treat everybody's wounds. I guess
Quark's had
after
the bejesus beaten out of him.
I guess after you have Klingon sex, you have to go to the doctor. So.
Oh my God!
He's had too much umox.
And yeah, so Grilka, Quark, Worf, Jadzia, they all come here, and Bashir says, "I don't need to know anymore. Stop telling me anything. I don't need these images in my head." In fact, I'm going to stop asking that question altogether. People can come in. I will treat them. That's all. Yeah, because you know how a doctor usually asks you what happened. He regrets this. And so, of course, this whole episode was because I can forget about the O'Brien nonsense because this whole episode was all about getting Worf and Jadzia together. And we never see Grilka ever again.
Never again.
Even though that was the one true romance that I actually bought this entire episode because this develops over time. I don't buy it yet, but it gets better. But Grilka and Quark had something going on. but we never see them ever again. But I guess if you've been
he did end up with
divorced-
broken ribs.
He did.
I mean, do you really want to go through that every time you want to boink?
I guess he decided he's not into S&M. And I guess if you've been divorced, tradition doesn't force you to marry a second time as a Klingon.
Well, and also maybe there's a Klingon rule that says you cannot remarry your ex.
Oh,
I don't know.
Yeah, that might make sense. And Worf reminds Dax of the tradition of getting married after consummation, but she says she wants to take things one day at a time. And she says, one thing's for certain, you stop thinking about Grilka, to which Worf starts to laugh. And this might not be anywhere close to my favorite DS9 episode, but that goofy Worf laugh was fun.
I like the fact.
Do you have a clip?
The laugh.
Oh no, but I can play it.
I'll have to go. Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll get it for you.
Neat.
I have.
Because you said it was goofy. I gotta hear Worf's goofy laugh.
Oh,
it's funny at the end of a comedy on television. People always have to go out laughing, so a signal to the audience. Now everybody laugh.
Now everything's okay. We all have broken ribs and broken bones, but everything's fine.
But just
Mild
as recently
concussions.
as 15 minutes ago, we all came.
Yes. Yeah, but Star Trek does it in a way that it's still PG-13. The whole family can still watch it, and it's not as crass as
The
this
entire
podcast.
reason these people are in the infirmary is because they were all having Klingon sex. So I'm not being indiscreet. That is what happened. That is why
they can actually they can insinuate that it happened without actually stating it outright. They were very clever that way.
All right, fine. You gonna play the sound?
Yeah, but I mean, we're not.
She's waiting for the laugh.
Okay, there it is. You're not thinking. Oh yeah, you stopped thinking about Grilka. That's where it is. So I gotta unmute my screen. Can you hear it? Right.
Not yet.
Now. Oh.
No. There it is. Yes.
One thing's for certain.
Here we are. Yes.
You stop thinking about Grilka.
Oh.
Yeah, that's charming.
It is charming.
That's good.
It's heartwarming. Anyway.
Yeah, I mean, I can't remember ever hearing Worf laugh.
That's what Guinan said.
That's a bonding moment for sure.
I love the relationship between Worf and Jadzia. I think that they are my favorite couple in all of Star Trek. I enjoy it. And I do also, like, as a lost love, based on what happens in the rest of Deep Space Nine, like, I love their romance. I think that it is tragic and short-lived, just like every romance in Star Trek. It reminds me of Data and Tasha.
Oh, well, they just had that one time.
Yeah, but it was still. It was a thing.
It's something.
Why do you keep a representation of Tasha Yar? Data.
Yes, it did carry with him. It did. He carried it with him throughout his life. And so this relationship is the only reason this episode has any right to really exist. And Armin Shimmerman's great work. Like, he did a great job with that.
And Andy Robinson's incredible direction.
And, well, I guess whether or not you like this episode will depend on whether or not you like Worf and Jadzia together. And so if you don't like that pairing, I could imagine you hating this episode. Worf and Jadzia are probably the best working relationship, though, I think, because you know, they do have a kindred ship with each other in terms of their Klingon, how much they know about Klingons, and how they're able to explore that together. And this makes sense.
Well, and also if you're weirded out by the relationship between Miles and Nerys, Don't worry, they never mention it again.
Oh,
I did feel like
they
had
never.
resolved
What?
it.
Yeah, they did. Oh, they resolved. Oh, yeah, they meant. Yeah, they resolve it, and
Well, they
there's more.
resolve it when the Bajoran poops out the baby.
Yeah, and I guess that's individual. Well, he does have to massage her one last time. Oh God,
Oh my!
God, why did you have to remind me of that?
Well, because it's part of the Star Trek series.
It's in your
real
head.
Star
It's
Trek.
not truth. Nobody poops out babies, and it's offensive
I don't know.
to say so to me as a woman, frankly. No, we have a separate organ for that. We don't.
No, but
don't.
what?
Yes.
And I'm not trying to disparage Earthers, Terrans. I'm saying that I don't know what the reproductive process.
Yes, you don't know. You're
Bajorans.
speculating, but
I'm just saying. Yeah, and "but" is the accurate word.
Stop.
All right.
Oh yeah, and that's more fan fiction.
Thank
from
you for
Scotty.
hearing me.
Scotty fan fiction.
Yes, Scotty fan fiction. I understand there are lots of people who like to do that with Star Trek, particularly. Oh, that laugh.
Yay.
I'm just having a fun time.
Yeah, you never got to hear it.
Yes, with your own particular perverse interest. But
Yeah, I do.
not fun. Not fun for me.
I apologize.
It's not fun for you, but
You don't have to
some of my
apologize.
listeners-
I'm just letting
some of my
you
listeners
know.
think it's funny. But yes,
I'm sure there's
do-
people out
I
there
do
who will
pause
find it hilarious because they're perverse. But
I'm
there you
one of
go.
them.
I'm not gonna. I don't want to call any of my listeners perverse.
I am a perverse.
I don't mind. I'm just
individual.
going to say it. I'm happy to say it. Anyway.
Yeah, I'm okay with it. I'm happy to be perverse. It's
I've heard more than a few people use that expression, and I'm just here to give you human anatomy. That's all.
Scotty R37 strikes again.
Scotty's not the first person I've ever heard say that, and I call other people on it too. Nope.
No,
that's
but
not
I'm
how
just
it works.
saying maybe Bajoran.
I get it. Yes, no, but
All right.
stop.
All right. I will.
You're so good.
That's the first time I've been accused of that.
It's a good episode. It has its charm.
I think it's a great character episode. I enjoy
Yeah.
hanging out with these people. I love the
It's always good to laugh, even when it's kind of weird and
Yeah.
awkward, like with Miles. Poor Miles.
Miles.
Because I feel guilty because it's like we're laughing at Miles, not with him. He's so awkward.
I'm always on his side.
Yeah, he's
Always
he
on his
suffers-
side. That's why you feel
he
guilty.
suffers greatly. He suffers greatly in this episode. I kind of missed the fact that this was a O'Brien must suffer episode, but it definitely is. That poor guy.
Suffered by temptation.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay, so
But he rose above.
It kind
Even
of.
though
It
his
kind
wife
of
was
gives
really
me,
pushing him right into it. So
It
strange.
kind of
If
gives
you
me
had a
acid
choice.
reflux.
if you had a choice,
Yes, Surus. You get the Surus.
would
The
you
heartburn.
choose Keiko or Nerys?
I don't swing that way, so neither.
Well, but you understand that what's best for Miles.
Oh, from Miles. That's a hard call. I've already told you how I feel about Nerys as a character.
I'm
And
sticking
I
with
kind of
Keiko.
like Keiko.
Yeah, I'm with Keiko.
And he's made this decision very emphatically, I think. He's going to be
Yeah,
true
but
to his
just
wife.
the idea. Yeah, I'm glad that he chose to be true to his marriage. That's good. But even the idea that he wants to run away with Kira, that's even on his mind, is kind of crazy.
I don't
No,
think he
no,
has
his
an
wife
idea
is
he wants to run
masterminded all this.
away.
You've convinced me. It's Keiko's doing.
Yeah, if he
Oh,
did
yeah,
it,
no,
that
Keiko
was
wants
what
it.
she
Yeah.
wanted.
Oh, she wants it so much. It's very odd.
Keiko is a Gene Roddenberry.
Either that or
level
she's
sexual
completely
pervert.
obtuse. It's she doesn't strike me as an obtuse person.
Not stupid. I will.
No.
I will complain about her a lot, but not that.
She's not dumb.
So no, that's something she wanted. She was masterminding that. She was behind that little
Minding.
trip to the trip to the cottage.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
So strange.
Keiko would have brought.
Did
the
they ever
lead.
work out a reason for her doing that? A motivation?
I think you know what? When it all jokes aside, when it comes down to it, I think that it was just a matter of showing her being nurturing and protective of her unborn child. But then, as Jill pointed out, it was her disregard for her pregnant body that put her in this situation. So, I don't know. Like, the more and more I defend Keiko, the more and more I realize that maybe I shouldn't.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you, Scotty. You've come a long way over the course of this live stream, and I'm so proud of you.
I'm allowed to change my mind.
Old Man Bird with the 1999 super sticker.
Old Man
Thank you,
Bird.
Thank you. That means so much to me.
Quelle genereuse.
That is so good. I'm gonna have a cigarette.
Okay, Scotty's gonna go
just
have
wait,
a cigarette.
just
no,
a few
you can
minutes
go
more,
now.
right?
I'm ready to
You're
go.
not my
No,
supervisor.
No, actually, now it's okay for him to go smoke because I'm reading the chat
Okay.
and
half
we
a
got through the
cigarette,
episode.
not a whole cigarette. Half
Okay,
a cigarette.
If you're still listening, Scotty, half a cigarette. But
half is better than none.
I do need to spin the wheel and see what.
Now we have to talk about the poll.
Flip. Yes, we do have to talk about the poll, but I got to play a clip for Old Man Bird, and we got to see which one it's going to be. Oh, this one's a classic one. I play this automatically for a lot of super chats. And I just got to find out where it is.
Scotty, in Argelia they use the lights. Now, no one has to tell an old Aberdeen pub crawler how to applaud, Captain.
And there you go.
Yes, never seen Scotty looking quite so happy.
Yeah, Scotty's great. And then there's... I'll play a couple more. I think I have another Scotty here.
You're a beauty.
Oh, and this one's one of my favorites.
Now we have all the time in the world.
Scotty in love.
He is in love in that one. So, thank you again, Old Man Bird, for that. That's awesome.
Franco.
What did Franco do? Oh. Okay. Where am I? Oh yeah, Franco. Franco says, please subscribe, hit the bell, share, hit like, and select live chat. All the things I always forget to say, Franco always remembers it for me. And DJ Knight was enjoying everything that we were doing. Very obviously. Thank you, DJ Knight. I vote Lush. I wonder. Oh, maybe Kira. They want Intendant Kira, maybe? Rosalind was also in the Spider-Man TV series.
Wow, that's obscure.
Soon Lee was her character name on MASH. She is 67 now. Wow.
Never tell a lady's age. It's our heritage. We're all something. We all came from somewhere, unless you're of the tribes, unless you're Native American. Well, you have to come talk to us someday, and we'll be the judge of that, Franco. Ouch! I'm sure that's not true. I'm sure you have a fine, upstanding, long history in Canada. as a country. Ouch. Oh, that stings. Sorry to hear that, Franco. It sounds like they loved you. Not like a brother to start with, though. Yeah, the neck device was good. I'm surprised they didn't go with kind of some sort of little implant thing. But, yeah, it was very, very beautifully made and drawn, designed. Dax is all things. That's why Dax is such an interesting character. Dax has been, I think, multiple sexes and had multiple relationships. And, God, I don't know how old Dax is. That's why we need Jill and Scotty here. But, yeah, Dax is...
Yeah, she is old.
Many lifetimes of experience.
Right. She has been male and female. And yeah, we're talking about the symbiote. So what happened was in a previous...
The Dax. Whatever one calls it.
The Dax, the little the Trill symbiote.
Yes.
And so, oh no. Oh, I have my daughter here. I think she needs something. Oh, she found something. Okay.
But that is a funny way to put it. Bionic.
Yeah, lesbianic. Yeah, no. What it is like Tiger said, is that she's been everything.
Yeah. And you don't even have to be that to, have an eye for people in general, to just like to look at people. But she does sort of often size people up, it seems, when she's just talking about them. She has
I'm
a
stumbling
healthy appetite.
Because I keep getting in. Okay, so yeah, so what happened was there's that episode. He's thinking of this episode is what's happening, and he's thinking of this. I gotta play it so you know what the context is for what he's talking about. And so that happened because of an episode called Rejoined, where it was a relationship that had started with a different symbiote, and so now she's in a different body that she was in. She used to be a he, and so then.
So what is the species that the Dax is symbiotic with?
The Trill.
Yes.
So the Dax itself is not a Trill.
Well,
who's got the body? Who's got the spots?
All right. So here's
Trill?
what I understand about
the Trill. Okay, so the
there
Dax
are
is
humanoids. There are humanoids on Trill, and then there are also the symbionts. How do you?
Yeah,
say
the
that?
symbionts. Symbionts.
The symbionts.
So the humanoids are the Trill.
It's not like Spider-Man. So symbionts, and they are collaborative in terms of the continued history of the Trill. Like they are literally a symbiotic relationship.
You mean every Trill has a symbiote? Every Trill has a Dax?
No, it's not. It's not like that. And there's a whole big hubbub about it. It's like they established long ago in their history that only certain Trill, like the bipeds, can hook up with the symbionts.
But that's a lie. That turns out.
But it's a lie. It's a lie. Anybody can do it, but they have a hierarchy and they have a thing where there is a class.
And the reason why they lie about it is because there aren't enough symbiotes for everybody. So they just say some people are special, and so that way people don't fight.
Yeah, it is an interesting, like, it's weird, and it really doesn't come up that much until like season 6 or well, no, that's not true, because that happens. When do they find out, Jill? It's like season 3.
Oh, I don't remember.
Yeah,
I don't
me
remember
either.
precisely when.
I don't know either. So
it's a good job they didn't use that box McCoy had in Spock's brain. Yeah, no, that is exactly what I think about in this episode is Spock's brain. Yeah, so they went full Spock's brain in this episode for sure.
Yeah, but with sex.
But with sex.
No, with fighting.
That's true too.
Also. Mm-hmm. And Gavin Blackburn says, play the Decapodian national anthem. I don't know what that is. I'm sorry.
God bless America, land that I love.
No.
Get
God bless Decapodia.
And find her from the thing to the thing and the thing.
Boy, you really don't know that song.
No, I don't. But it's not my job. I was trying exactly.
Oh, it's from Futurama. Okay, I didn't remember that. That's cool. Well, I'll go learn it. I don't remember it.
Are they symbiotes? Probably are, huh?
Hail to the chief, cause the chief's the one you hail to.
No, hail to the chief. He's the king of all the surgeons.
Really? So, is that how
he
he
needs a female to satisfy his urges?
Yeah, I didn't bother. And I did.
Hail to the chief and submit to all the urges.
No.
I didn't bother. Oh. I didn't bother him. I didn't bother Scotty with addressing the filth again earlier. But Franco just say, good point. How come at the end of Blood Oath they only eat one heart of the albino? Because there is no other heart. That was ridiculous filth.
Yeah, no. You know what? I was getting my Klingons and my Doctor Who's confused. I think that, well, but because, Klingons have backups to every, like there are redundancies to their physiology. That is a thing that we find out when Worf breaks his spine. And so, yeah, maybe I'm getting confused.
Oh, does it happen in oh, it happens in ethics, so it isn't just from the filth. Okay. I guess
this
maybe
is
it does happen, but it depends.
Bill.
Yeah. You're right. You're right. I forgot about ethics.
You've got to acknowledge the fact that Star Trek exists, even if you don't like it.
Yeah. Well,
sometimes they know what they're doing. Sometimes
I need a biology book.
I bet you do.
Klingons. Anyway, let's not explore that statement any further than that.
Agreed.
One time with Data and Tasha, as far as we know. That's right. As far as we know. Shut up, Wesley. I can't believe I missed somebody.
I didn't know Rennie was here.
That was Franco.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
Sir, I know this may finish me as an acting ensign, but
shut up, Wesley.
Oh, that makes me so happy. Thank you, Franco. Let's see, where are we? Shut up, Wesley. There it is. Naughty Scotty. I wonder why precisely he said it at that moment.
Oh, we know why.
Yeah, we're all aware.
I don't know if I'm going to be hearing this. Yeah, even DJ Knight. DJ Knight thought it was too much. That's how bad Scotty was.
Yep. Yeah, don't know when to say when, Scotty.
Oh, but I
you can
enjoy
stop like
pushing
just
envelopes.
5 words before 5. No, you enjoy pushing buttons.
That's true as well. Yes.
Yeah, I might have been on mute earlier, and some cool things.
You were kind of quiet there, and I was sort of trying to pick up the slack.
And I think I was
like I'm all alone.
I think I said some amazing things, and nobody will ever hear them.
Yes, they've evaporated into the vapor.
Yeah, it was some good stuff too. And then I realized you were talking over me, and I was like, "Wait, no, she's not talking over me. I'm muted."
Oh,
Keiko,
you think I would have noticed?
Yeah.
I don't know about terrible. I mean, she was very much herself, wasn't she? And I think that you feel strongly about her.
Well, my
hooray! Look, Scotty. Franco confirmed. You got it right.
My concern is that I like Keiko, and 90% of the reason that I like Keiko is because Miles loves Keiko. If she's good enough for Miles,
Scotty's so compelled to profess his love for Keiko that he's missing his opportunity to gloat about Klingons having two hearts. That's how important Keiko is to Scotty.
Agreed.
Yeah, she's a bitch. But
I know you don't like her, but I'm going to invite her to the parties that we go to.
She's a hard person, and you know how I feel about the word bitch.
Oh, sorry.
Wow.
I know. Here's my thing. It's an anagram. It stands for Buddy, I'm taking charge here. So when you find anybody who objects to it, that's usually why.
No, I'm saying like people buy lottery tickets when Jill says fuck. I'm saying that you should probably buy a lottery ticket.
Buy two because of the B word?
Yeah, exactly. When Tiger Stripe says bitch, buy a lottery ticket or two.
I use that word even less because I don't use it frivolously.
No, neither do I. But I think it has a certain strength there. Like I said, I just remind myself of whenever anybody starts tossing it around, willy nilly, I always remind myself of the anagram, and I know why they are uptight.
Now you're just inviting
I'm
me
not
to
uptight. I just get no,
not you. You're not understanding what I'm saying. If there's a guy out there and he's bitch this, bitch that, bitch this, bitch that. My ex-wife was a bitch. Da 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 da. B. I just think to myself, buddy, I'm taking charge here, and I know that's the source of that person's unhappiness.
Well, possibly, but the reason I use it is because she constantly turns down Miles's affection anytime he wants to hang out. She doesn't want to hang out with him. She's like, I'm too busy. I got more important things to do. I'm all about my career, and I don't have time for you. And so it rubs off on Molly, and Miles wants to, hey, can we color together? And Molly's like, no, I'm doing this by myself. And so she's learning directly from her mother how to dismiss somebody else's feelings.
Yeah, how to smack down a guy. Yeah. Or anybody else, or anybody else. No, I hear you.
Well, and so, I do enjoy. I enjoy looking for the seedy underbelly of any plot line, but I do have a certain romantic, familial, warm, PG, if not G, identification of the O'Brien relationship, especially when it comes to protecting Molly. Like I think that it is bizarre. The relationship, the carrying of children. Why is Nerys living in our house? Asks Molly. But
yeah, exactly.
I don't want to pursue it any further because I do think that Keiko loves Miles. Miles loves Keiko. And I think that it is a family unit that is, I don't know, troubled by the problems of the 24th century. Like I want to be more earnest and more naive about that family.
That's how Ronald Moore feels about it. He thinks that Miles and Keiko are a realistic couple, but I don't know about that.
I agree.
I'm so reluctant to go there. There was an HEB commercial with, what you would call a tiger mom. I can't even remember what the commercial was for HEB. And she's encouraging her child to play sports, to run, to do this, to do that. And at some point toward the end of the commercial,
I'm sorry.
She's standing next to another mom, and they're kind of watching. And the tiger mom's daughter just sort of jumps on this kid, just kind of, and you don't even see the kids tussling, but the other mom just kind of shrinks back in a bit of horror and says, she's ferocious. And the tiger mom says, thank you. And that's kind of what I get from Keiko. I get those vibes. She is about herself.
And I think Miles needs a ferocious partner. In the same way that Worf needs.
I think Miles is mama dependent, and he needs some love.
That makes sense. You know what? I'm not going to argue with that.
I'm not so sure. I don't know about all that. But what I do know is that
Miles enjoys getting spanked.
We have.
It's a goddamn weird ass place we work in. Let me tell you.
I concur.
So we have a poll. Did Worf and Jadzia ultimately become a worthy romantic pairing? And people ultimately say yes. 61 versus 39. That's how it started, and that's how it's ended with 31 votes. Thank you, everybody who voted in the poll. That was I like to have polls, and, see what people say. So that's good news. I agree, but I also appreciate people who had the opposite opinion. Plenty of people on the other side. It would be interesting to hear why they don't believe in Worf and Jadzia. But for now, I gotta get out of here. There's a soccer game going on.
Thank you for having me in. Soccer. Yes. Be ferocious, girls.
Yes. It's a co-ed team.
Oh, wow.
So my son's playing with the girls.
That's a real opportunity for some SmackDown. I hope they don't
roll
over.
Is J.K. Rowling gonna tweet about it?
No, because they're kids, and so that's not a thing.
Okay.
Yeah. It's only when you start to adolesce that men really start to develop the upper body strength and all of that. Until then, you're pretty equal, and then it's all over.
Yes. After middle level, I don't think they do co-ed anymore.
The first tooth that I ever lost, I was in grade school and I was rehearsing for a Winnie the Pooh play. True story. And I asked the girl next to me because I had a loose tooth and I knew it was going to come out, but I wanted money from the tooth fairy. And so I asked Jackie, her name was Jackie. And I was like, can you punch me in the face? And she was like, what? And I was like, I'm going to lose a tooth. And so if I do, I get money. And she's like, oh, I've heard of this. So she punched me in the face. It hurt. So I started to cry.
No.
And then the teacher came over and said, what happened? And I said, Jackie punched me in the face. And Jackie was like, you son of a bitch. You fucking son. You threw me under the bus. Anyway.
Oh, that was pretty shitty, Scotty.
What part were you playing in Winnie the Pooh?
I was not a main character.
Okay, so you were like one of Rabbit's friends and relations.
No, I was the one who was when we were trying to pull Winnie the Pooh out of the hole, like out of
Rabbit's hole.
Yeah, and
you were one of Rabbit's friends and relations.
I was the one who was pulling on Eeyore's tail. So I got to pull off Eeyore's tail, and the reason I got the role, there were 7 auditions, and it was because I was so good with physical comedy. So
you totally threw Jackie under the bus, though. Shame on you. Also, not a good way to knock out a tooth getting punched in the mouth because you're going to take out a tooth with it.
I got money the next day. It was a whole.
I hope you gave her a cut because you really owed it to her.
No, we never spoke.
Did she have to do detention or something? Oh yeah, I'm sure she probably did.
Yeah, she did.
Was she actually in your class, or you were just both in this production together?
No, she was in my class. I trusted her.
Oh, then it would have been really hard for her to never talk to you again.
And so I would like to say right now, I'm sorry, Jackie.
Yeah, you owe her half of what you got for the tooth, and
so I will send her 25
plus interest.
Yes. So it's $175.
I think so. Yes.
Yeah.
That's not good.
Yeah, whatever.
What were you?
So
thinking?
I've always been this way. I apologize.
So you were like 8 at the time, right?
Something like that. No, younger.
7.
Yeah, but I looked a lot.
This episode should die.
I just wanted to play that.
We have it coming.
Is there air? You don't know.
You don't know. Oh,
So
that's
is
where
it
I'm
cool?
in
Can we
the
go?
aggressive clip section.
Oh, and
Sorry.
Franco's
Yeah.
trying to usher you out, Jill. He's doing you a
Yeah.
solid.
Yeah,
He's
I
the
know.
best
I'm
wrench
also
ever.
just
Also,
playing
I
random
appreciate
clips.
Franco's correction between acronym and anagram. I thought I was saying acronym, but sometimes I say one. I think I'm saying one word and I say another. It's not good. I don't like
I don't even speak English.
Listen, let's get down to brass tacks here. How much for the 8?
So anyway, I would love to hang out and chat
No,
with you
you
guys
gotta
further,
go.
but I gotta go. I got a family and stuff and things to do.
Ditto.
And I hope everybody has a fantastic rest of your Friday. I want to thank everybody who decided to spend some of their time here with me to just listen to us talk about Star Trek and and whether or not the validity of Worf and Jadzia, the insane relationship between Keiko and Miles, which Scotty will continue to defend to the end of the
Earth.
to the end of the Earth. Yeah.
Oh,
And
universe.
I will. Oh, even the universe. Whoa.
Yes.
Yeah, it even might be that strong.
Don't put words in my mouth.
Okay, maybe it's not that strong. Earth is correct. It's not that crazy. So
Maybe
I
galaxy.
want. Oh, galaxy quadrant. How about the quadrant?
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
Okay, so why don't you tell us what's going on with you this week or the next coming week if there's nothing else this week?
I am super excited about we've over on the Phantasmagorium, we've been talking about the Mission Impossible movies. I'm looking forward to the next Mission Impossible movie. And so me and my co-hosts, Steve, Kat, and Ernesto are going to continue on that. I think next week. I don't know. I don't keep up with schedules. I'm also a very, humbled by being a part of Cinema Gulp. And Cinema Gulp just got to 900 subscribers. I hope that there will be more soon. And the reason that I want more is because Ben from Cinema Gulp said that if he gets to 1,000 subscribers, he's going to tattoo the logo from Cinema Gulp on his body. And that's some
Only at
jackass
1,000?
shit.
Yeah. Don't do that. No.
No,
So
I think he
that's-
should.
No. That's 50,000 minimal.
He has
50,000
been
minimal.
building.
500,000
He's been building
minimal.
that channel for 9 years. I was so
Save the
happy.
tattoo for the big numbers.
I tried to talk him out of it. He wants to do it. I can't.
right.
I want to do it. I want him to buy me a passport, and so I can come over and use a Sharpie and with a needle. But yeah, so I'm looking forward to that. And then
Prison
also,
tattoo. Nobody wants a prison tattoo.
well, all right. And I don't know. And what else am I excited about, Jill? You? Like your
Well, yeah,
channel
me.
and all the Star
Every
Trek
Tuesday.
things?
All the Star Trek things,
all
all
the
the
Twilight Zone?
Twilight Zones on Tuesdays.
Right.
If you want to see Phil Morris again, not Phil Morris, the other one. Who's the other Klingon actor?
Oh, that was the guy.
That was the guy, but he was played by he played Tumok, right? Or Tumok?
Yeah, that was Tommy Lee Jones.
That was not Tommy Lee Jones.
Well, then I was mistaken.
All right, I already closed the file, so I gotta find it.
Damn it, Jill! Why is it my job? Anyway, no, and thank you. I appreciate.
Well,
it.
you
The
usually
thing-
know.
Yeah, I know, but it's Friday. But I want to thank you. I want to thank you for everything that you do, and I also, before I go,
Joseph Ruskin.
Joey. And I want to thank Tiger Stripes. It's so good to see you, lady.
Oh,
It's so
fun
fun to
talk
hang
about
out
this.
and converse.
Fun to talk about the womance.
The womance? I don't even know what that means. Anyway.
Okay, Jill's muted again, I think.
Oh,
good.
and I really appreciated your input too. Tiger Stripe.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. It was fun.
And yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm glad you were here. And if anybody wants to get in touch with Tiger Stripe, she's there on the Twitter.
I am on the Twitter.
Is there anything you want to share?
I'm working hard with Jill on reviewing Lord of the Rings. It's some heavy lifting, but it's fun.
Yes.
And of course my top 5 favorite books. So yeah. And I sing now and then, and I know that I need to do more promotion and I need to get some good things together just so people can sort of follow me and click on links, and I need to do that. Somebody suggested that, Ben suggested that to me at one point, and I said, oh, what a good idea, and then I didn't act on it. But yeah, I'm here and there talking. Sometimes I'm on Canadian Spider-Man's channel when he's talking about traveling to foreign countries. That's a blast. Yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely cool. Love to hang out on Spidey's channel.
Mm-hmm.
And Gavin says I also exist here. He's also I don't get a lot of comments from the Twitter side. That's always fun to see. And thank you so much for being here, everyone, says Canadian Spider-Man. That's my line. It's really appreciated, and I'll see you guys later. Have a fantastic Friday. I know I'll see you around this weekend. So until then, take care of your crew and rock. Oh wait, that's somebody else's line.
Looking for Plomeek in all the wrong places. Looking for Plomeek.
And the ways our differences combine to create meaning and beauty.
It has always been easier to destroy than to create.
May we together become greater than the sum of both of us.
Well, now you have something new to think about. Carry on.
All right, move along. Done. Stop it. Get off of the things. Go outside. Get some food. It's like, it's a time of day where you live. Go do something. Shut up, Snoopy. I don't care. You smoke too much. Let's go. Let's go adventure. Let's go explore.
Goodbye, Steve.
Emma.